6 o'clock, good morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. In Titans news yesterday, wide receiver James Prochet has been signed to the active roster as they officially placed Calvin Ridley on injured reserve. The Titans also signed two wide receivers to the practice squad in Lance McCutcheon and Christian Wilkerson. In other NFL news, Texans head coach DeMeco Ryans declared that quarterback C.J. Stroud will miss his third consecutive game this week, and backup Davis Mills would get the start again, who is 2-0 so far in relief. The Texans host the Bills tomorrow night for Thursday Night Football. In college hoops last night, two games in the State Farm Champions Classic. Number 17 Michigan State hands number 12 Kentucky their second loss of the season as the Spartans win 83-66. Kentucky shot 35% from the field. And number 5 Duke improved to 5-0 on the season as they beat number 24 Kansas 78-66. Cameron Boozer had 18 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists for the Blue Devils in the win. And the new college football playoff rankings were released last night. Texas, after their loss to Georgia, fall out of the projected 12-team list and is replaced by Oklahoma, who comes in at number 8. Tulane replaces South Florida as the group of 5-team bid. And Georgia replaces Alabama in the top 4 as the Tide fall to number 10. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Brewed up for a fresh 4 hours on your Wednesday morning. Welcome into Ramon and Will, fueled by Scooter's Coffee. Brewed as always by our friends in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. 615-737-1045 is the number. We take our first look at Gators Week. Tennessee versus Florida, Vanderbilt versus Kentucky. Also in hour one, Austin Peay head coach Jeff Ferris joins us as the Govs continue to roll during the 2025 season themselves. Brian Rice of the Vol Network and Sports Radio WNML talks Vols with us at 7:20. Do we have to reset expectations again for Cam Ward? Maybe, maybe not. But if we did, we'll talk about how we are supposed to do it at 8:20. And, of course, Rhett Bryan at 9 a.m. on a Wednesday morning. He is the 11-year NFL veteran involved for life. Ramon Foster. I'm Will Bowling. Streaming live on 104.5 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch on Wednesday, November the 19th. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Will. Just a quick traffic update, too. If you're driving by Trinity Lane coming into the city or out the city, both lanes are real slow. So if you're listening to us at home and got to come into Nashville, go ahead and get out or take Briley if you're going west. So, yeah, it's a little, I think somebody just had a fender bender, and they pulled over on the short side of the emergency lane or whatever. And yeah, just kind of got everything backed up right now. I thought I was going to be late this morning, man, which I hate being late to things, even if it is work. You know, some people are like, I'll get there when I get there.
Yeah.
I hate it either way. But good morning, Will.
The first time I ever got pulled over, I did that. I pulled on the short side of the interstate. It was right in front of the, right by FRA on 65 going north, which very stupid to speed going north, because you're going into the county and you're on the fringes of it. If hypothetically you were going to speed, doing it going south, where the jurisdiction is quickly running out from Davidson County to Williamson County, would be the place to do it, hypothetically. But I remember I panicked, didn't know what to do, so I pulled to the left. I was in the fast lane, and I pulled left and not all the way across traffic.
I feel you. Them blue lights, man, get you every time. That panic sets in. The heart rate goes up. And then that sweat bead comes across your forehead. It's like, all right, where's my insurance? Do I have my license? Am I legal? Do I have warrants? Did you have warrants, Will?
No, and I did talk myself out of that ticket like I have every time I've ever been pulled over.
Have you really?
I've never actually gotten a ticket. I've always talked myself out of it and gotten a warning.
I've gotten one before.
I have kind eyes.
Kind eyes with a mild voice. That'll do it for you, though. Most times they don't want you to just be jerks about it, though, too. And, I mean, I've gotten one, too, and I've been very respectful, but I was hitting like 91 one morning coming into work. I deserved that one.
Well, the guy told me, he was like, I've got you going close to 100. And I had an old Jeep Liberty, shout out, that smoked when I would go up hills. And I told him, I looked him dead in the eye and said, "Sir, with all due respect, I don't think this car can go 100." And it worked.
For real?
I'm dead serious.
Why did you think the car couldn't go 100?
Because it couldn't. I definitely wasn't. And I mean, I legitimately wasn't. I think I was going maybe like 85 and a 65 or 55 or something like that. And it's right where it changes from 70 to 65 on 65 North.
Yeah.
And I did not make the proper adjustment, and I was pulled over. But it's okay.
Man.
Worked out. I think I've been pulled over like 2 or 3 times and never gotten a ticket.
Man, we were driving through. You're talking about traps going through back roads, and so it's 2 of them that happened. One going to Alabama when we drove down to Tuscaloosa. It went from like 65 to 40. I'm like, all right, cool.
The 40 on the interstate?
40. No, it was like the back roads, the highway.
Oh, okay.
Is where it went to. And then going to Mississippi, it went from like 55 to 25. And I was just like, if this isn't a trap, like, do you know how slow 25 is?
It's very
also,
slow. Very slow.
It's very slow. I hate those types of traps like that, man. But I'm going to follow the rules, especially when we're on highway roads. But yeah, I did see a little social media meme this morning. Guys who are great, who will break the traffic rules, are great husbands.
Oh, lovely.
There you go.
Well, I'm also known for when there are people, and this is my pet peeve, especially when there's no one on the road. When it's like 30, the speed limit is 30, but you're downtown. We don't need to be going 22 or 23 miles per hour. We can go 35.
We can.
We don't have to stop and look at, they don't have this back where I'm from. Like we can just hit the gas pedal just a little bit.
And just roll, man.
Especially early in the morning. I feel like when we are coming in, there are a lot of times people are just, I don't know if they're looking for someone or they're looking for a place to drop something off, or I don't know how early Uber Eats is working around Nashville, but we as a society need to know that it's really okay to go the speed limit around downtown Nashville. We don't have to be going 10 under.
We can be cool here.
You ever been pulled over for being on your phone?
I haven't had
the
that
first time I was ever pulled over. He said, "You were texting and driving, weren't you?" I said, "No, sir." He said, "Are you sure I saw you on your phone?" Well, to be honest with you, there was an update on ESPN that I really had to check, and I shouldn't have done it, but the Titans had just made this move. It's not an excuse, but yeah. So he said, I pulled you over for you checking ESPN. I said, "I apologize, sir." And then I got $100 fine.
Wow.
He still gave it to you?
He gave it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
It was bad.
Jayhawk.
I was like, I explained to my mom, the first time I've ever pulled over is because I'm checking ESPN and not even just texting somebody.
That's tough.
Hands-free means hands-free.
That's tough.
Bruce also put in there, it just made sense. Everybody's had that one car. You know what my first car was given to me by my granddad?
What's that?
This is in 2007. A 1986 Cadillac Fleetwood Broham. Long land yacht. Do you hear me? It was red with a white top.
You've got to have something like that to start with.
You have to.
It's part of.
You have to.
It was fun. I loved that car.
Did you really? The smoky part of it?
2003 Jeep Liberty. The thing would not go over the 1.5 RPMs on the engines. They would try. But I loved that car so much. I was so thankful for it when I got it. I was like, oh my gosh, I love it. I had a Power T tire cover on the back. It was a way to get a Jeep without getting something that could kill me. It was great.
Not a Jeep fan.
And I'm not anti-Jeep Wranglers, but as a high schooler, yeah, no, it needed a little bit more. Need a little bit more substance to it.
I'm with you there, man.
Did y'all name your cars?
I didn't.
I did not name that one, though.
I did not.
My first car was a 98 Ford Explorer Sport. I named it the Green Hornet. Yeah. It was.
I thought you were going to say, like, his name was Ralph. Something random.
Not that
Ralph
kind
makes
of
sense.
name. No, it was a good nickname. That was like right around the time when the Green Hornet movie came out. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to name it the Green Hornet. Yeah, but it would also shake when you stopped at a stoplight. It would idle so hard that you would just be shaking. Yeah.
That's tough. I've been there before, too, having to pour oil into the motor. I'm sure yours did, too, Will. Having to pour oil in.
I did
with
not.
The smokiness.
But maybe I should have. Maybe that was the problem.
Probably should have.
615-737-1045. Yesterday, the Titans making it official. Calvin Ridley to injured reserve. Done for the season. James Prochet signed to the active roster. The Xavier Restrepo Hive continues to wait. Remote Foster.
Yes, it does, man. I saw Buck's such a troll, and we know that, too. Okay, we absolutely.
Did you take the bait?
I did not.
Okay.
I looked at it and moved on. Okay, I looked at it. He posted
Buck
it.
is baiting people more than he ever has right now.
I'm talking about a deep sea fisherman
That's
right
how he
now.
keeps himself entertained for a job that a lot of people would kill to have. But anyway, continue.
Yes, but I saw that and I was just like, I wonder why he released this. But I also looked at it and just said, he's just not ready, I guess, or not at the point where they feel like Restrepo time is a part of it. I'll tell you when you'll probably end up seeing him. In my personal opinion, I've seen these types of things happen the last 2 weeks of the season.
I think you'll see him this weekend.
You think you'll see
I think he'll
Restrepo
be
this
elevated
weekend?
for the practice
Okay,
squad.
I'll roll with you on that
because
one, man.
you're missing
from the practice squad.
Yeah,
on game
you're
day?
potentially missing 3 wide receivers this weekend. You got to replace them.
Well, Odell Beckham Jr. is also available.
Well, do you think Odell Beckham Jr. is a fit for the Tennessee Titans, Ramon? No, you sound like Buck.
I just want to. No, I'm not doing that. I just want to squash all possibilities of having a conversation of Odell Beckham.
Shot.
Will listen of
No
Odell Beckham choosing to sign with the Tennessee Titans.
That's correct.
Like that's why I brought that up and snickered a little bit on my way out of that comment.
Yesterday, Ramon, Titans fans are so desperate. I'm not going to say the whole fan base. There is a section of the Titans fan base that is so desperate to see Xavier Restrepo that they were watching a Twitch stream and talking about what he was talking about on a Twitch stream, where he apparently said that he's doing a lot more in practice this week. Sure. I mean, I do think we're going to see him play this weekend, and depending on Chimere Dike's status, which we'll learn more about this week and today, whether he practices or not, or obviously Elikai Manor, who did not return late to the game with a hamstring injury. You've potentially got 3 needs at wide receiver from what you had last week, with Ridley down, with Manor, and with Dike.
And, Oliver also went to IR. By the way, we never talked about his injury much at all either. I remember it happening.
Yeah, it's been weird.
But they said he's also ran at practice a time or two.
I mean, he was doing more to the point where you felt like he was ready to go, and then I don't know the story there. I don't know what happened.
I saw the play. I remember when it happened. He hobbled off the field. It was a home game. Yeah, and his leg looked like it hyperextended on the tackle, like it hit somebody else's and whipped forward. And I was just like, "Ooh, that's ugly," because I've had that type of situation happen before too. I didn't realize though, because he hadn't been active, that he was actually practicing too. So. Sure. He's definitely an athlete. He would be up automatically in these types of situations. I was more shocked that he actually went down from practice squad to IR.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Maybe we'll get an answer.
So Restrepo did do a Twitch stream also.
Yeah, he was on something saying, like, I'm doing a lot more in practice this week.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good for him. I mean, you have to at this point with the amount of bodies that aren't available to him to get those reps. Now he's going to be doing double duty for the most part. But
the Titans have been consistent of what the pecking order is, and that James Prochet has been ahead of Restrepo this whole time, and that can be true, and yet they can both get opportunities potentially this weekend. 615-737-1045, live for the 1045 The Zone Circa Sports Studio. Kentucky's largest sports book can now be found at Circa Sports at Kentucky Downs. Coming up, our first look at Tennessee and Florida. Plus, Austin Peay head coach Jeff Ferris joins us at 6:30. Coming up next. Now, Justin, why would you do this? Why would you do this? Ramona Will, fueled by Scooter's Coffee. What in the world? What is this music choice?
It's Tennessee in the swamp.
No,
You never back down.
Is this a Florida Gators station? Is this the home of the Gators? No. Your home for the Titans and Gators. 104. What in the world?
No, Jayhawk. No.
I'm gonna let what? Why? I'm letting you answer. I'm giving you space.
Wait, hold on. I'm going to confess. Is this their song where they play at night?
Yes. Yeah, they play it every game.
Well, then I apologize because I was mistaken. But I also thought it was fitting because the Vols haven't won since, 2003? They've got to get down in the swamp. They've got to get the win.
Playing opposite day.
You're trying.
You trying real hard.
I respect the effort.
I do too.
No, stop it. Stop it.
You got to play something. You got to play 9 to 5 by Dolly Parton because that's what we're going to need to do.
The Way I Talk by Morgan Wallen.
Yes, it's something.
Tennessee's third quarter song.
It's got to be Tennessee themed today. We can't do this on Hump Day, Hawk.
That song is forever ruined for me after going down there 2 years ago.
Well, now that you told me that, it's ruined for me. I never knew this.
Well, hopefully
I ain't pay attention to him
you
like
have
that.
a similar experience at the end of the third quarter that Slay and I had in Baton Rouge in 2022.
Y'all had a ball that day, too.
Yes, we did. Those traditions are not nearly as cool when the stadium's empty because you're beating the home team by so much. Unfortunately, that was not the case in Gainesville when I was there 2 years ago. But
we got to get our lick back from them. Like
a lot of licks
overdue.
back.
Yeah, it's overdue at this point.
It's a big old Tootsie Roll pop, and then we've got a lot of licks we got to get back.
Yes,
we're trying. How many does it take to get to the center?
One.
We don't know yet.
However long it takes.
We have not figured that out yet.
We have not.
Tennessee and Florida, Saturday night in the swamp. Florida 3-7 overall, 2-5 in league play. They are not eligible for a bowl game. They've got 2 bowl games left against Tennessee and against Florida State. What stands out, Ramon, the number one matchup that catches your eye between Tennessee and Florida?
The one that kept them in the game against Ole Miss, DJ Lagway. His ability to extend plays, his ability, like he's stronger than I feel like you think. If it's 7 yards and out from the goal line, I feel like there's a strong opportunity for him to run the football in. I don't think he cares too much about taking hits. He's tougher than I perceived him to be, considering how injured he was this offseason and how bad this season is, too. He is the straw that stirs the entire gallon of water that they are right now, waiting for somebody to do something. I think that is the most crucial matchup that you have to put a blanket over. I like their defense, too, to be quite honest with you, Will. Their defensive line is as good as I think anybody else is in the SEC. They just can't complete it. Their linebackers, to me, I think are more problematic with what they got going on. If you beat up their line of scrimmage, their defensive line, the second level, third level is for you to take. That's why their running game, to me, is the run defense has been more obsolete this year. Is their second level, knocking on wood as I say this crap, they don't know how to fill gaps, is what I've seen.
Ole Miss rushed for nearly 240 yards against the Gators on Saturday. They allow 143 per game on the ground. That's 13th in the SEC, while producing 15 takeaways this season, which has been a strength of theirs. Florida in the past game, really aside from the Ole Miss game, has struggled when the injuries have started to pile up at wide receiver. Dallas Wilson, the star freshman who injured his foot, is out for the year. He is a really big reason why they were able to upset Texas at home. Mm-hmm. And him and DJ Lagway together were a solid passing attack when he was healthy. He is not healthy. He's not going to play in this football game. They are also without Eugene Trey Wilson. Eugene Wilson III, they call him Trey. Vernell Brown was a game-time decision last week against Ole Miss. He didn't play either. Right. So they're down 3 good receivers. J. Michael Sturdivant is the other one, the other kind of leader within that group that has been healthy and has been good. But they're hopeful to get Vernell Brown back this week. I think they probably will. And they're also likely to get Caleb Banks back this week. Their star defensive tackle who's not played since the LSU game. Crazy stat via Eric Kane of VolQuest. Florida converts on just 33% of third downs and have scored 19 touchdowns on 30 trips to the red zone. It's 63%. Now, that actually is good.
Yeah, it is.
And their red zone offense ranks 11th in terms of scoring on 93% of red zone opportunities. Ramon, this is crazy, though. they've only been to the red zone 30 times this year. Tennessee has scored 37 touchdowns in the red zone out of 51 trips at a 73% clip scoring touchdowns. Tennessee has scored 7 more touchdowns than Florida has had trips to the red zone all season. That is insane.
It is.
That is legitimately insane.
But if you look at their tape, it's all based off what DJ Lagway does. The offensive line can be porous as heck. The run game hasn't had much of a breakout. They have sprinkles of, explosion runs and stuff like that, but middle of the field is where they struggle. His lack of getting his wide receivers open or his offensive line holding up, he will, like most mobile quarterbacks, abort the pocket quickly, and you'll allow him to, in those situations, run to the sideline. And as long as you're clean in the secondary, there's not much he's able to do in those situations. That's just from the tape that I've seen. Well, they are porous as heck. The consistency of them being able to move the ball is because of that with the offensive line, in my personal opinion. I thought they were supposed to be a strong suit for that squad this year, too.
Yeah.
Yes, they were.
Florida is 89th in FBS with a -2 turnover margin. Tennessee is ranked 32nd at +4. Obviously, we know the last couple of games that the offense has not held up its end of the bargain. I think, Ramon, it comes down to this, and it's going to be more than just it being this simple. But I do think for this game specifically, your number one key is which quarterback takes care of the football better. DJ Lagway has 13 turnovers of Florida's 17 this season. 16 sacks allowed by that offensive line, which is not terrible.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah, it's certainly not terrible at all. Joey Aguilar cannot be running the he's down there somewhere play as consistently in this game as he has the past couple. And I think whichever quarterback handles that better probably wins this game. Tennessee's turnover margin has been great all season because that is the strength of this defense. As the defense, unfortunately, has taken steps forward, it feels like the offense has kind of taken steps back. If the passing game can kind of get back to what it has been through the majority of the season, I like Tennessee a lot in this game. But that's not a foregone conclusion based on the way they've looked the past couple of games.
Yeah, no doubt. At 24 years old, this is where that maturity has to step up for Joey Aguilar. The understanding of his situation, man, if he's, wanting to be a 4th, 5th, 6th round draft pick going into the NFL draft, like this is where he has to answer that call. And the other part, too, is the most obvious one, handling the crowd. No, David Sanders Jr., no false starts. Sham Umarov, if it's you, no false starts. Like, that's where it has to be. The snap infractions that they've had from times in these type of situations, had them at State and Mississippi State from time to time, and Alabama too. Yep. You cannot allow that to be the case. And also, always be smart with what you're asking them to do too. Is that part for me from Joey Aguilar?
We will get back to Tennessee, Florida. We'll get back to talking Vandy, Kentucky as well here in hour one. But we got more local football to talk about as we are joined now by Austin Peay head coach Jeff Ferris. The Govs are 7-4 headed into the final weekend of the regular season. They're undefeated at home at Forterra Stadium in 2025 as well. Coach, good morning. How are you?
Ramon, good morning. Fired to be with you guys.
Good morning.
Coach, undefeated at home. What does that mean to your football team, for your program after the win over Samford over the weekend? How excited are you to be 6-0 at the Fort in 2025?
We couldn't be more fired up, Will, and it was a goal that we've talked about all season long. This community has been awesome for us. Ramon, every time we get on, we talk about how special Clarksville is, and the win in front of those guys, 6-0 for the first time since 1949. Wow. And I'm proud to be a part of Austin Peay. There's been a great tradition and history well before we got here, and to do something for the first time since 1949 says everything about our players. Right now we're one of only 2 teams in FCS football that have an FBS win and a ranked FCS win. We're doing a lot of really, really good things, and the players deserve all the credit.
Coach Jeff Ferris, Austin Peay joining us. So, Coach, where has this team taken strides since we've last spoken to you? What have you liked about the way your group has gotten better over the course of the season?
Our goal, Will, since we got together January 21st, we talked about discipline and finish. I know we've talked about that. What I've loved to see is that we've gotten better every step of the season. We're now in the 4th quarter of our season. We've won games where we've come out and we've been hitting on all cylinders, but we've also learned how to win some of the games where they're kind of ugly, and it's a 4th quarter game, and maybe you don't play your best ball, but you find a way to finish, coming off 2 in a row with Samford and Central Arkansas. So I've been really impressed. Our guys and our senior leadership in our way to find a way to finish. I think great football teams do that.
We're joined by Austin Peay's head coach, Jeff Ferris. Coach Ferris, man, you guys have really crushed it at home, and you're averaging 34 points a game so far this year. What's kind of led to that, man, is you guys have been a catch-me-if-you-can type of team to everybody else this year?
Yeah, I got to give credit to the players first and our offensive staff led by Quinn Bilderman. Our guys do an unbelievable job. But you look, and Chris Parsons is a big part of it. Ravenwood product, here a local guy. We're top 10 in the country in total offense, points responsible for, passing yards, and first in our conference. And that's only possible with great play from the quarterback position, but also the other 10, the offensive line, as you know, Ramon, the playmakers on the outside. We got a bunch of those guys, and the ability to run the football and play with balance.
Coach, you got a lot of accolades that are coming to some of the players on your team, man. Mackenzie Smith, the freshman, player of the week, man, if I'm not mistaken, with a pick six also this past weekend. What a gift he had for your seniors on senior day up there. What has his contributions been like this year for you?
Yeah, Montrez has been a heck of a player. Came to us from Western Kentucky, from Carrollton, Georgia. We only got him in June.
Wow.
And, the way that he's playing right now, speaks volumes of his commitment to this program, his teammates. And then also, the job that Brandon Williams has done as his linebackers coach, but he does not look like a freshman. And he gets better every single day. I think he's one of the best players in our league, and I'm sure happy we got him.
Coach Jeff Ferris, Austin Peay head coach, joining us this morning on Ramon and Will. Coach, you got a big challenge coming up this weekend as you go back on the road to take on fifth-ranked Tarleton State. What stands out about them and what makes them such a difficult team to beat?
I think when it comes to their offense, it's all about the quarterback and their playmakers outside. They got really, really good backs, and they can play with balance. They force, kind of like, they do a lot of things that Tennessee does on offense. They can create the big plays, but they can also really want to run the football. So we got to have 11 guys do their job and bring them down. When it comes to their defense, they're very aggressive. They're going to match us up in man coverage. We got to hit our shots when we get our opportunities and make them pay and win on the outside, and then find ways to run the football consistently, stay in third manageables, and stay on the field. So I'm excited. What a great opportunity for our guys. We're pretty juiced, and we've had a great week so far, so I'm fired up.
Coach, you talked about the goal of being undefeated at home and checking that box. What goals are still on the table for you guys? And maybe even just for our listeners that aren't as familiar with postseason process and what you guys still have to come at the end of the season, because there's still a lot of football left to be played. What is next as you motivate your football team, and what can fans and Middle Tennesseans expect from you guys as you try to continue to knock off and more of those goals and check off more boxes?
Yeah, well, one thing we talked to our team about really every, first meeting of the week is that everything that we set out for when we came together is still at our fingertips, and we control our own destiny. So it is all out there for us. A big, I know we're going to play well at Tarleton, but all those goals, postseason play, championship, all that kind of stuff is still out there for us. So we've got to just continue. We've talked all week about running our race and running our best race. It really doesn't matter what anybody else does. I think this has been our best week of preparation through Wednesday morning that we've had all year. So all those things are out there for us. It all starts with a great week and a great performance on Saturday, but it's pretty fun to be playing meaningful football this late in November.
No doubt. We spoke about it this past summer. You guys were talking about the buy-in, the training. Have you seen that also, as you guys have those GPS systems now that track guys and how their output has been? That payoff from summer to now is what you're seeing the benefit of it throughout this season?
Well, I'm happy you asked, because we're going to have a team meeting here at 7. And one of the things that we're talking about, in addition to running our own race, is how our GPS numbers, you look at our skill positions, like the receivers, DBs, our max velocities were the fastest we've had all year yesterday. And we had guys setting PRs on a Tuesday on November 18th. Most guys at the end of the season, they start to slow down, and they talk about their bodies being beat up. But by the way we train and our players' commitment to one another, we just continue to get better, which is why I think we're playing better as a team in November. And Ramon, I know you'll remember this, but from Coach Cut, they remember what you do in November.
Yes, sir.
And what a great opportunity we have this Saturday.
No doubt about it. Coach Ferris, I hear it coming through your voice when you talk. You absolutely love this journey and this grind of it too, don't you? I
do. And I love Austin Peay and this community. It's really – I've been at some great places. I've been very fortunate. But it makes it's always fun. I always enjoy it. But when you're with this group of kids, this coaching staff, it's hard not to love every second of it.
No doubt about it. Also, too, the way you guys are controlling the games and the balance that you have, too. I saw that you guys are holding the ball about 31 minutes a game offensively, which is good. You're giving your defense time to rest. But on top of that, you're averaging 179 yards on the ground and also 261 passing. You clearly have a level of discipline with that group to keep them ahead of chains with those types of numbers right there. Where did that start? Was it senior leadership? Was it the quarterback? Was it the emphasis? Of course, you being a Coach Cutcliffe guy, where does that come from to be able to establish from where you were last year to this year?
Yeah, Coach Cut wants to run the football. Everybody, sometimes the first thing that comes to mind with Coach Cut is obviously the great quarterback development and the offenses, but it all starts with being able to run the football, and that's the biggest help to a young quarterback. And this is Chris Parsons' first year as a starting quarterback. He started one game prior to getting here, but you're exactly right. I think great offenses have balance. I think the biggest change from last year, you could argue a number of things, Ramon, but our offensive line really, really improved. And, kind of the era that we're in, what a great place, but there wasn't many players left in this locker room. And there was really one offensive lineman that's starting for us now that was on the team last year. So we kind of had to build it from scratch. We didn't have maybe all of the resources to, go get those guys year one. But we've done a great job building and growing, finding the right guys in the portal this year and the high school ranks to where we're very, very competitive up front. And, you talk about championship teams and the best teams at any level. They're good up front on offense and defense, and I think we're just that.
Coach Jeff Ferris, our guest this morning, Austin Peay head coach. The Govs head to Tarleton State, taking on the Texans. ESPN Plus, where you could watch it 4 p.m. this upcoming weekend. Coach, best of luck down the stretch. Really appreciate the time.
Most definitely.
Ramona, Will, love you guys. Thank you so much.
Absolutely,
Let's
Coach.
Yes, sir. Rooting for the Govs this weekend as Coach Jeff Ferris joins us here to kick off hour one.
See, if you're going to have a secondary team, Austin Peay. That makes sense to me.
We've got a very strong listener base in Clarksville that's their first team as well.
No, seriously, and they deserve that type of respect. So I didn't say that to be disparaging.
I know exactly what you mean.
I've just, this type of week, I've heard people say they're also Tennessee and Vandy fans, and that just don't get me started.
Oh, wow.
Don't
Tennessee and Vandy fans.
I got a name too.
See, now that's a primary and secondary I'm not okay with.
And that's all I was saying. I'm glad we can agree on that.
Coming up, Kentucky at Vanderbilt this weekend. More local football to preview in Nashville coming up next.
Genesis Diamonds presents the Holiday Love Event, the biggest and final sale of the year. It's this weekend, yes, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, where you can enjoy store-wide savings of 20, 30, up to 35% off. That's more than just taxes off, okay? Engagement rings, earrings, pendants, bands, and bracelets. This is the biggest and final store-wide sale of the year. If you've lived here for a while, you know this is the event everybody waits for. Acclaimed designers will be here with their entire collections. Even luxury pre-owned Rolexes are included. Zero interest financing also. And the staff at Genesis know they can break all the rules during this 3-day, $30 million sale. Get moving on that fall engagement proposal. Fellas, speed it up a little bit. Or shop early for Christmas. Or reward yourself now with the stunning Rolex watch. Whatever the occasion, don't miss this incredible savings event. Up to 35% off Genesis' amazing everyday low prices store-wide. Color gemstone jewelry, the latest designer creations, diamond classics. Get the best price of the year. But it's 3 days only this Friday through Sunday exclusively at Genesis Diamonds. They're located in Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Ramona Will, fueled by Scooters Coffee, 104.5 The Zone. Wrap it up. Hour number 1, 615-737-1045. Ramon gets his request. What a way to make a living.
There we go.
To start your morning. Vanderbilt's going to host Kentucky, 2:30 p.m.
Yes.
ESPN will have the broadcast. Vanderbilt is favored by 9.5 against the Wildcats. Ramon, what is your upset alert meter at in this game? How confident are you in Vanderbilt taking care of business on Saturday afternoon?
I'm confident because they're a good team, that Vanderbilt should win this football game. That's where I lay my head in the fact that, look, when teams are good, sometimes you just got to respect what they are, and I do respect that about what Vanderbilt's done this year. Their defenses has been as good as you need them to be. They hadn't lost a cupcake game any this year per se, right? Like, they beat who they're supposed to be beating. The questions that I have is the newness to what Cutter Boley is to Kentucky's offense, how he's kind of had them moving a little bit more. So now I saw it in the Tennessee game. Remember, I told you this. I got on this radio station and said, Kentucky Wildcat fans, you got a guy. Keep it together and let him grow. He's a Kentucky native. He's got a good arm. He's a good athlete. That defense also can play from time to time. If he wasn't such a young guy in defense, the Vols didn't have an opportunistic defense as far as getting turnovers and stuff, I'm not sure if the Vols would have won that game that night. He was good getting the ball out of his hand.
He was.
The offense is quick and close to the line of scrimmage. Vanderbilt, I feel like, is going to get to a point to where they got to decide how aggressive do they want to be against that style of offense, because they're going to run it also. And if they can't get to Cutter Boley, then how are they going to stop them? Because, again, I didn't think Tennessee did a good job of stopping them. If Vanderbilt plays a style of offense that is slow and methodical, and they try to, you move Diego Pavia around, that could be problematic for them, because Kentucky's got some guys that can go get it. The big blue wall that they call their offensive line, they can also protect them too. So I think this is one of the better matchups of the weekend, Kentucky and Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting one. I struggle to see Kentucky winning the game without just really winning the turnover battle, and that is something they have not done this season. Kentucky 107 in FBS with a -5 turnover margin compared to Vanderbilt's 50th ranked +2 margin. I think the struggle for Kentucky in this game is their ability to get off the field when Vandy has third downs. That is a prerequisite of beating a Clark Lee, Jerry Kill, Tim Beck, Diego Pavia Vanderbilt team. You can't let them have these long, grinding 6, 7, 8 minute drives. Kentucky is 95th in third down percentage allowed, allowing opponents to convert 41% of the time. Vandy is the number 5 third down offense in college football. 53.3% of the time they are moving the chains on third down. On the flip side, Kentucky can also play that kind of game when they have the ball on offense. They rank 22nd in FBS with an average time of possession of 32.02. So Kentucky can out Vandy if their defense can get some stops, but that is a big ask. This is not a bad Kentucky defense. I think they have gotten better over the course of the season. Quietly, Mark Stoops has them close to bowl eligibility. If he goes 6-6 with this roster and the change he had to make at quarterback and the amount of guys they got taken from them in the transfer portal last year, you're not firing him. You're just not.
I'm with you.
If he can go 6-6 with this team.
Yeah.
I will say this, though. A lot of what Kentucky does offensively with Cutter Boley exposes some weaknesses in Vanderbilt defensively. And Chris Lee talked about it with us 2 weeks ago. It really showed up in that Auburn game. When you get the ball out quickly in space, those Vanderbilt defensive backs have struggled in taking the proper angles and getting good athletes on the ground with green grass around them. That is how Kentucky had so many yards against Tennessee. Get it out fast, get it to Kendrick Law, and let him go. Now, he only had 2 catches in that game. One of them was, 75 yards?
Yes, it was.
On the screen pass where Idris Farouk took a bad angle. You get one block on the perimeter, and all of a sudden, they're dancing in the end zone. That is what Vanderbilt has to protect against in this game. Tackle well, Don't give up the massive explosive plays because I don't think Kentucky's going to be able to consistently sustain drives against you. They've got to hit some explosives.
I was going to say, if they have completions, they will, because again, it depends on how if they blocking the football at the line of scrimmage. Like, it's quick out of Cutter Bowley's hand.
It is
every single time. To your point about can they sustain drives?
It is. You have to protect against the disaster plays.
Yeah. Yes.
If you're the Vanderbilt defense, which Kentucky, they're going to hit a couple of, and that's the thing that Vandy's been really susceptible to this season. They'll give up some 50, 60, 70-yard catches like the tight end screen or the screen or whatever against LSU where the guy takes it to the house breaking like 4 or 5 tackles. Like, it feels like Vandy's got one of those a week. Texas had one on the first play of the game with Ryan Wingo. Now, there's not a Ryan Wingo on the Kentucky team is what I'm saying. Vandy fans, I think you're going to be fine. I'm not really super concerned about this game for the Vandy perspective. But you've got to take care of your end of the bargain. If you take care of the football and just tackle when they get the ball out quickly, you'll be fine.
Kentucky played and beat Auburn 10-3. Vanderbilt was in a shootout with Auburn in that game right there, too. So, like, there's a one-on-one comparison as to what they are. They're also on a 3-game winning streak right now, Kentucky, that is. And their points average has gone up since that game. So they put up, 38 on Florida.
Yeah, and that's because, again, turnovers.
Father, 38-7 would make me a very happy man in Gainesville. I ain't gonna ask for too much after this, Heavenly Father.
I know it's Christmas season.
I know you got a lot of ask on your hand right now. But if you could just do for us what you did for Kentucky and Gainesville, I'll be all right, man.
All God's children say amen.
I joke, I know, but like that's what Kentucky's capable of. To your point, though, Will, and that was with DJ Lagway.
That was with turnovers that they forced.
Yeah.
Again, that's exactly the point. If you take care of the ball, unlike the way Florida did, that won't happen to you.
No.
Let's go to Adam in Lebanon up next on the phones. What's up, Adam? Good morning.
Morning, guys.
Morning.
Quick question. I want to get both of your guys' opinions. 2026 University of Tennessee football team, first game starting quarterback. Is he currently on the roster?
I quickly say yeah.
I think so, Adam. Yeah, I think it's George McIntyre.
Yeah. I think it's George, too. Faison hadn't even played an entire year this year, his senior year.
Faison Brandon. 5-star, 247 has him as the number 1 player in the country.
Yeah. So he has barely played. I think he's going to need that year. He'll probably get the same George McIntyre treatment, sit back, learn, grow. That to me is also, I think, another thing that he has to do going into the season. Heupel, he's got to go get a veteran guy again. Mm-hmm. You can't just have these scenarios keep popping up.
Can't just have 2 scholarship quarterbacks.
Young ones at that.
Because that's assuming Jake Merklinger transfers, which I think is a foregone conclusion at this point.
Big Jake going to go get it somewhere, in my opinion.
I don't have any, we don't have any insider knowledge on that. That's just connecting the dots. We're actually going to talk about that at 8 o'clock if you'll stick around for us then, because Sam Levitt report yesterday says that he is likely going to enter the portal. I went back and looked at a lot of the NIL valuations of some of the top quarterbacks that were transferring in from the portal. There's not many of them making a ton of money who are on playoff teams. No one's gotten this balance totally right yet. Kurt Cignetti probably has more than anybody in terms of finding the right portal quarterback and then also having enough money to fill out the rest of the roster. 2 reasons why I think George McIntyre is the starter in 2026. One, we know from what we've heard and what's on the record, Josh Heupel and his coaching staff love the kid. They love him. I shouldn't call him a kid. They love George. In I think the skill set he has, what he brings to the table, his experience in this offense in high school, because his best year at Brentwood Academy, he was running this exact system when he took over at the beginning of his high school career as a sophomore. I think the other reason is the ability to invest that money elsewhere, knowing that you can develop a quarterback who knows the system already. Mm-hmm. That's why I think you're going to look at maybe bringing in someone around the price range, reportedly, of what Joey Aguilar was to compete with George, and then invest NIL money in fortifying the offensive line. fortifying the defense. Like, you trust Josh Heupel to get more out of less. And I'm not saying George is less. I just mean that you don't have to shop in the Sam Levitt sweepstakes, because if you are paying for a transfer portal quarterback, you are overpaying a transfer portal quarterback. Those guys have tremendous value. Is that really worth it for Josh Heupel to get in those sweepstakes and pay maybe $1 million more than what you should?
Right.
Probably not. I'd rather go put together a good defense to complement whatever this offense is and ride with what we've got.
I'm in that boat. I'm rowing in the same direction. Go find a guy decent and just go spend a crazy amount of money defensively.
Speaking of college football and transfer quarterbacks that have had success, Ole Miss has got one that's pretty dang good. Ferris State quarterback Trinidad Chambliss, which actually the exact kind of transfer I want Tennessee to go get this offseason. Someone who's coming in with the expectation that they are going to battle for the job, but most likely be your 1B and not your 1A. Tennessee could go find a Trinidad Chambliss. Sign me up.
Beautiful.
But Lane Kiffin responded yesterday to the report about the Ole Miss ultimatum. We'll tell you what he had to say next.
Smashville hockey. Around here, it can sound like a language of its own. But hey, if you can pronounce Demumbrian, then names like Yossi, Shea, and Marchessault will roll right off the tongue. Nashville Predators, only in Smashville.
One of the largest sports books east of the Mississippi, Circa Sports Kentucky, is now open. Catch all your favorite games on an 80-foot screen with stadium-style seating and live VSiN broadcast daily. Circa Sports, now open at the Mint Gaming Hall, Kentucky Downs.
My dad and I used to golf together all the time, but when he hurt his back, it was over.
To have your son want to spend time with you is amazing. That's why my chronic back pain has been so heartbreaking. Surgery, fused bones, long recovery. No way, not for me. A friend recommended stem cells, so I gave Kellum Stem Cell Institute a call.
I'm glad you're out on the course.
Yeah, it's really good.
Call the Kellum Stem Cell Institute today. Swing still looks just okay though.
7:02, good morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. In Titans news yesterday, wide receiver James Prochet II was signed to the active roster as they officially placed Calvin Ridley on injured reserve. The Titans also signed 2 wide receivers to the practice squad in Lance McCutcheon and Christian Wilkerson. In other NFL news, Texans head coach DeMeco Ryans declared yesterday that quarterback C.J. Stroud will miss his 3rd consecutive game this week, and backup quarterback Davis Mills will get the start again, who's 2-0 so far in his relief. The Texans host the Bills tomorrow night for Thursday Night Football. In college hoops last night, 2 games in the State Farm Champions Classic. Number 17 Michigan State hands number 12 Kentucky their 2nd loss of the season as the Spartans win 83-66. And number 5 Duke improved to 5-0 on the season as they beat number 24 Kansas 78-66. Freshman Cameron Boozer with 18 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists for the Blue Devils in the win. And the new college football playoff rankings were released last night. Texas, after their loss to Georgia on Saturday, fall out of the projected 12-team list and is replaced by Oklahoma after their win over Alabama. They come in at number 8. Tulane replaces South Florida as the Group of 5 team. They come in at number 12. And Georgia replaces Alabama in the top 4 as the Tide drop to number 10 in the rankings. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Hour number 2 on a Wednesday morning edition of Ramon and Will, fueled by Scooter's Coffee. You too can be fueled by Scooter's Coffee if you head on down to one of their locally owned spots in Middle Tennessee. Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. 615-737-1045. Whole crew here. 11-year NFL veteran, Vol for Life, Vol Network analyst Ramon Foster. Justin Hawkins, our producer. I'm Will Bowling. Brian Rice is going to stop by in 15 minutes. Our good friend from the Sports Animal in Knoxville and the Vol Network. Talk all things Vols with him, previewing Tennessee, Florida, his feelings on the game in the Swamp Saturday. Plus, Ramon, he is also the voice of Lady Vols basketball.
Yes,
he is going to be in our neck of the woods tomorrow because the Lady Vols are going to Murfreesboro, to the Glass House, the Murphy Center, to take on the Blue Raiders of MTSU. So we'll talk about that with Brian Rice in 15 minutes.
It's a hard ticket to get, by the way.
I'm sure it is.
Yes,
yeah.
it is.
Hey, MTSU Lady Blue Raider fans are legit.
Supportive.
They
also,
have got
yes.
a deep fan base, and obviously the Lady Vols are well supported here as well.
It'll be like a family reunion there.
Sure.
The way I feel about that one.
Lane Kiffin yesterday was on the Pat McAfee show in an interview that looked pre-recorded, that they said was live. Justin, I should have asked you this off air, but we'll live produce the show on the air. Does he cuss in this? Anyone cuss in this?
I'm going to be honest. Give me a minute.
Okay, well, we're going to check and see if he cusses in this because...
Mainly because it's still loading.
Okay. Lane Kiffin went on the show yesterday and said there was no ultimatum given by Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm. I doubt that.
Yeah, I just, at this point, we're going to play you what he had to say. I really don't care what he has to say.
Don't play with us, Lane, is what we're asking.
We're just gonna put it on the record. That way we can react to it and talk about it because I thought Andy Staples had a really good column yesterday answering the question that you had to ask. He had a better answer than I did. Why would Ole Miss give an ultimatum? Why would they do this at this point of the season and potentially ruin what has been maybe their best chance in school history to win a national championship? And he made a good point at on3.com saying that Ole Miss doesn't have time to wait while other jobs get filled. If you want the guy that you want, let's say that coach is at Tulane, John Summerall, head coach at the Green Wave, who are right now in a playoff spot.
Yes, they are.
With what happened in the college football playoff rankings last night and them being the highest G6 representative, Auburn wants to hire John Summerall. If you wait until after the playoff for Lane Kiffin to decide what he wants to do and you lose in the quarterfinals, and then all of a sudden Lane Kiffin takes the LSU job, well, now all of a sudden John Summerall's been recruiting for Auburn for 3 weeks. John Summerall is down on the plains. Stephen Godfrey said he's the most Auburn coach you could build in a lab.
Get out of here.
That's who I think their next head coach is going to be. All of a sudden now, if you're Ole Miss, you're sitting there twiddling your thumbs like, well, who's available? who can I go get? It is a crazy scenario, but it is the scenario we're living in, Ramon, that you might lessen your chances of competing. That's the best chance you've ever had because you have no choice, because the way the calendar works out in college football and when coaches can leave, your only chance to get a good candidate is by hiring in the same window of time as all the other top jobs that are available right now.
No doubt. And what's fascinating, too, about this, Will, is I went through and tried to find, like, the biggest lies that college coaches have told. It is some good ones. One of the best ones as far as, like, them staying or going or leaving or whatever the case may have been was Tommy Tuberville. It was when he left Ole Miss to go to, Auburn.
Yeah.
He goes on and said, they'll have to carry me out of here in a pine box in 1998. The lie, he was not carried out in a pine box.
Well, and two, remember what Nick Saban said as the head coach of the Miami Dolphins?
Yes.
It just came out point blank and said, I am not going to be the next head coach at Alabama. And then where was he the next head coach?
2 weeks later.
Yeah, he was the next head coach at Alabama.
Bobby Petrino did the exact same thing. Like, this is what college coaches do. That's what Lane Kiffin did on Pat McAfee's show yesterday, too, was lie, lie, lie. Rich Rodriguez is another one. I'm not leaving West Virginia. Well, he took the job ASAP.
What did he do? He left West Virginia.
He left. Yes, he did.
Here is Lane Kiffin on the Pat McAfee show talking about not getting an ultimatum.
There's a lot of distractions that come with having success. You talked about the past 3 years being an absolute juggernaut down there in the SEC for Ole Miss. All the success you've had in the past, your name is a topic of discussion everywhere, seemingly, and will be for the rest of your life. It's a good thing. I don't think it's a bad thing because it means that you're having success, which is why other people are certainly going to mention your name whenever jobs open up. But there's a rumor now circulating on the internet, and we appreciate you joining us here to maybe kind of clarify this. Was there like an ultimatum given to you in the middle of a season from Ole Miss? It feels like the way I'm reading it on the internet is that Ole Miss has told you, and you were doing yoga, I guess, this morning with the AD. Ole Miss has told you, like, we need an answer. Is that true? And how are you handling it all with the team with what's currently taking place?
Yeah, that's absolutely not true. There's been no ultimatum, anything like that at all. And so I don't know where that came from, like a lot of stuff that comes out there. Like I said, man, we're having a blast. I love it here. I mean, our running back's sitting right over here. Come on over. And it just couldn't be better. Like I say, you pray for things. Our fans prayed for this type of thing, and now we're in the middle of it. So enjoy it. You're 10-1. You're getting ready. You got a bye week. You get to watch half the country lose, and there's no way we can lose Saturday. And then you play the Egg Bowl and go dominate that and keep that Egg Bowl trophy home where it's been for a long time.
It's Lane Kiffin talking to Pat McAfee on ESPN.
You know how I know he lying? Because he brought an athlete in. He said we're in the middle of it, so enjoy it. Then he also brought the good Lord and pray in there.
A lot of cliches in there, weren't there? It doesn't even sound like he believes what he's saying.
He doesn't. Point. You can hear it in his voice, man. Look at his eyes. I saw in his eyes through the audio right there. Lane full of crap, man. That again, he's supposed to do all this to either protect him. He's supposed to just protect himself and his family first and foremost, just from all the noise. The other part of it is protecting his career and the amount of money that he could make that's on the table. Like, if he was doing yoga with the AD that morning, I'm sure there was a piece of paper with a pen that said sign this right next to it, though, also. Not that you can't wait to weigh your options, but if he truly does feel that they prayed for this in Oxford, Mississippi, answer.
If he does leave, you got to think that he quickly becomes one of the most hated people in that city.
Yeah.
Because he is pouring it on. He loves this. He loves being the center of attention so much. I thought that he had grown out of loving it this much. He hasn't. He's grown out of a lot of his bad habits, I think, but not this one. Not this one.
No.
Let's go to Donald in Nashville up next to the phones. Good morning, Donald.
Morning, Donald.
Morning. What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
We're good.
Good.
Oh, so I'm a courier here in Nashville, and yesterday I was out making some runs, and I ran into, I guess, what would be the uncle of Boo Carter, and we got to talking about, you know, the Titans and everything, and the Vols, and he just put something in my ear as if it was just as honest and as true as can be. He said that this year, at some point, Josh Heupel's out, and that Josh Heupel's interested in the LSU or the Florida job, as well as Kiffin is. What do you guys think about that? And I had one more point one more thing I'd like to say about the Titans, if that's okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Go for it.
All right, okay. I talked to Alex Williams. Alex Williams was a defensive end for MTSU and for Ohio State, and he played at the Vikings for a few years. I was asking him his opinion on, what does he think about the Titans organization right now? What direction do we look like we need to go in? Because it looks like we're spinning our wheels on the players, whether the players are any good or not, and whether the coaching's any good or not. He said it's higher up than the coaching. He said we got to get rid of everybody up in the office. He said that he knows of so many star players that have taken pay cuts not to come to the Titans.
Dang.
So I'm gonna hang up and let you guys talk about that, man. I appreciate the call, guys. Have a good day.
Appreciate you, Donald.
Appreciate the call. The first point about Josh Heupel being interested in the Florida or LSU job from, I guess, Boo Carter's uncle, he says, that sounds like crap. It sounds like the same crap like what Boo Carter's trying to spin about why he's no longer on the team, that he had an injury that is keeping him from playing. And then Josh Heupel says, there's nothing that our doctors have said that he has that should have him on the injury report. So forgive me if I could care less about on secondhand what Boo Carter's uncle maybe thinks about Josh Heupel. Because I don't really trust what Boo Carter says about Boo Carter, to be quite honest with you.
No, my stance on that one is, one, I would say as a coach who's got agents, every coach is going to look and inquire about it. The actual idea of leaving when you got 5-star quarterbacks that are already inside of your building too, and the stuff that you've already built, like, that stays. And then he also came in with Danny White too. He's got a level of trust in the conglomerate that he has.
You never say never.
Never say
like
never.
we talked about last week with Brent Hubbs, Tony Vitello is the head coach of the San Francisco Giants right now. We would have laughed at that.
Very true.
4 or 5 months ago as well. Like, you never say never. Obviously, any conversation and something like weird can happen. I don't know, but I would be totally shocked, totally floored if Josh Heupel was not the head coach of the Tennessee Volunteers in 2026, and I could care less what a member of Boo Carter's camp has to say about it. If there's anybody,
enjoy it.
huh? Okay.
So enjoy it.
If there's anybody that I want to hear from about Josh Heupel, the Carter family, respectfully, is going to be at the bottom of that list.
Yeah,
the very bottom of that list.
They're on the tear right now on social media.
I'm good. Again, like we talked about with Austin yesterday, we don't got to talk about it anymore. That ship has sailed. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. We don't have to relitigate it. It didn't work out with Boo Carter. You move forward. But I don't need to really hear what they have to say.
Second part, though.
By the Titans.
Alex Williams saying that they need the players take pay cuts. Usually the Titans give you more money to come here.
I have a hard time really doing a deep dive on what someone's saying secondhand.
I won't disparage Alex Williams or anything. It's just like, I won't do that.
Coming up, Brian Rice, Sports Animal, Vol Network. Lady Vol's in town. Tennessee's going to the Swamp. Lots to discuss with Brian after this. Put Lee Company on your team and stay ahead of the game with home maintenance, repairs, and more. For as little as $14 a month, become a Lee Company Plus member and receive 4 annual visits to your home for your heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical systems. Even better, Lee Company Plus members receive up to 20% off on every visit and enjoy priority service. In Middle Tennessee, Mother Nature forces us to turn on the heat, then turn on the AC, then turn on the warm air, then turn on the cold air. You got to make sure that your AC unit is ready for whatever Mother Nature can throw at it here in Middle Tennessee. And Lee Company, they're going to offer you the best deals as well to save you some money in the process. Lee Company Plus members receive up to 20% off on every visit and enjoy priority service. So you can learn more online at leecompany.com/plus. Platinum Home Protection starts with a Lee Company Plus membership. So head online, leecompany.com/plus. That's Lee Company, all you need. Ramona Will, fueled by Scooters Coffee on 104.5 The Zone with 11-year NFL veteran Ramon Foster. I'm Will Bowling. Scooters Coffee fuels you as well in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Joining us now from the Sports Animal in Knoxville on the Vol Network as the voice of Lady Vols basketball, he is our good friend Brian Rice. He will be in the area tomorrow as the Lady Vols take on MTSU. Brian, good morning. How are you?
Yeah, good morning. Between Coach Ferris and I, it's a Knoxville Catholic High School takeover of the first 2 hours of Ramona and Will this morning.
That's true. I forgot you guys. How close were you guys there near the same time, Brian?
There's about a 7-year difference,
okay.
But his dad was a big supporter back when I was in school, so
nice.
we got to know the family pretty well at that point. So really excited for his success at Austin Peay.
Oh, he's crushing it. Absolutely. Yeah. Want to get into, obviously, the Lady Vols tomorrow coming into the area and an opportunity for local Tennessee fans to go see them. We'll certainly talk about that, get into all the things at Knoxville, because, as always, Brian, as you know, there's never a dull moment. What's the mood like in Knoxville right now? It feels really weird for it to be cold outside and us be previewing a Tennessee-Florida matchup.
It does, but, and I thought at the beginning of the year that if you laid out with the schedule laid out this way, you had a better chance to beat both Georgia and Florida than you would have if they were reversed. Well, I still feel that way. You didn't beat Georgia, but you had an opportunity, and I think this is an opportunity for Tennessee to exercise some demons in Gainesville. Now, you have to go do it because, as we've seen from Florida over the last few weeks, they're capable of taking anybody in the country to the fourth quarter. Now, they're bad in the fourth quarter, but we'll get to that in a second. But they're also capable of absolutely laying down. And so I'm fascinated to see what happens in the second quarter of this game. If you look at Florida's trip to Ole Miss, the first and second quarters were the reason they were in the football game. If you look at Florida's trip to Kentucky, Florida had a lead after the first quarter and then gave up 21 unanswered in the second quarter and were never in the ball game. Tennessee has not been a good second quarter team. So what happens in the first quarter, second quarter Saturday night, I think goes a long way to determine if Tennessee can exercise some demons in the swamp. And look, nobody on this roster, nobody that's making the trip, save for, Hawk and Frage and Ramon, really have as many bad memories in the swamp as those guys do and as Tennessee fans do. So it's all about what this team can go do down there, not about the streak or anything else.
Brian Rice, the Sports Animal in Knoxville, the Vol Network, joining us this morning. Brian, how concerned are you with Joey Aguilar's turnovers and the regression of this offense, considering the fact that that's kind of what's also plagued Florida, right? The turnovers from DJ Lagway, the undoing of some good things by him just throwing it at the other team. Tennessee also has kind of been in that boat these past couple of weeks. What's kind of been most concerning about the way this offense has played recently?
I think it's that Joey Aguilar, for as good as he's been, has regressed to some of the things that concerned you coming in after looking at his film at Appalachian State, which is he gets frustrated that it's not all there, and so he just goes, I'm just going to throw this deep, which I think is a natural reaction that a lot of us would have, but it's something you have to coach out of guys who are trying to protect the football and play a little ball control offense in the SEC. And so, you look at Saturday. One of those throws, he gets hit as he throws. It's still probably not a throw he should have made. But the other one's just, I'm going to throw it down and see what happens. You can't do that. And I think they'd coached that out of him a little bit. But as the season has gone on, he's kind of regressed back into what he was used to and what felt comfortable. And they've got to find a way to make sure that he knows taking care of the football is priority number one Saturday night. Because if you don't turn the ball over against Florida, you win the game. I really don't see a path for Florida to beat Tennessee without creating turnovers, without winning the turnover battle. But your quarterback has to protect the football and has to make the throws and find the guys that are open, that are going to be open against this Florida defense. But don't go make that critical mistake. Don't throw the ball inside when it belongs outside. Don't just throw it long and hope for the best when there's two defenders down there. Do what the system wants you to do, and you will have success. Maybe not on that drive, but over the course of a game.
Brian Rice with us this morning talking Vols. B. Rice, man, when you look at this game, I tend to, from time to time, understand situations and the game. And they made this a night game. that says a lot about it. But you also look at the tickets for this game. You can get a ticket right now in the lower bowl for $78. B. Rice, the question I have for you is, to your point, how do you keep this team focused? Does Coach Heupel have that in him to make sure he understands what this importance of this matchup is? I heard he gave a history lesson about how long it's been, and he didn't just talk schematics. He talked history of what this win would mean to the Vols. Do you think they'll deliver on that this upcoming weekend? Are they capable?
Well, I think they're capable, Ramon. I think when you look at this roster, and it's a lot of young guys. Look, Josh Heupel doesn't do the Butch Jones youngest team, guys have never been on a plane, all that nonsense that made us mad. The reality is Josh Heupel not ever mentioning publicly that this is the youngest roster in the SEC, I think has hurt perception because people don't understand what a good coaching job in general this staff has done getting this group to play at the level they have. That said, there's a lot of guys that are coming back next year that would greatly benefit from finishing 9-3, from winning in the swamp and exercising that demon, from beating Vanderbilt on senior day at home to deny them a spot in the college football playoff, but also to maintain the idea in the locker room that, hey, we're Tennessee and they're not. And I look at what Alabama and Ole Miss did last year, finishing strong 9-3. Now, both of those teams lost their third game late. Alabama the second to last weekend of the regular season, Florida the third to last, or Ole Miss to Florida the third to last weekend. But still, finishing 9-3 and having that argument that you were, the best three-loss team in the conference powered those programs in the offseason so that they had a high starting point this season. And I think for Josh Heupel, that's the sales job. You're saying finish strong, finish the way we know how to do. Let's make this about us, not about who we're playing. Make it about us, make it about finishing strong, and take this on into the offseason and next year, and let's go have fun at a bowl game that we want to go to, not one that we have to go to.
No doubt. You speaking of going into the offseason, too, we lightly touched on a second ago. We had a caller ask a question about who is the starting quarterback on this roster right now, and I think Will and I both agree that George McIntyre is. Were you hopeful to see more of him last week against New Mexico State, and what's the outlook on him, you think, for this 26th season?
Yeah, I think if I had to guess, Tennessee will probably lose one of the scholarship quarterbacks on its roster. That's just the nature of it. If George McIntyre is seen as the guy, then I think Jake Merklinger finds another spot. I don't have any inside information on that. That's just a feel. And I think they'll go get somebody that will compete, but maybe certainly will not be a guaranteed start. But you also have Faison Brandon coming in, who has been injured for most of his high school season this year. But George McIntyre needs to put on some weight, but needs to get more comfortable in the offense, and is going to have the opportunity to do that in the offseason and potentially be the starting quarterback. I think I would have loved to have seen him more on Saturday. I think Tennessee was looking to do three things this past weekend, and they only accomplished one of the three. It was win the game, keep everybody healthy, and get the young quarterbacks playing time. And because of how the second quarter unfolded, you won the game, but you didn't keep everybody healthy. Miles Kitselman and Jackson Moyer both in there longer than they should have been, and you could argue got hurt at times that, if you'd taken care of better business in the second quarter, they're not even on the field. And then you didn't get either of those young quarterbacks, I think, the run that you would have liked to have gotten them. And in a situation where they could run the full offense, in a situation where they could get in and feel confident over the course of a few drives, you just didn't have that. Mm-hmm. And so I think you didn't maximize New Mexico State the way you needed to from that standpoint. And that's unfortunate because as we go into 9 SEC games next year, you're going to have one fewer opportunity to do that with your young guys. And so I think it's going to be tough to keep some young guys engaged. But I think George McIntyre certainly will have a leg up on the quarterback competition because he will have been here longer. And in this system, we've seen what second-year players and third-year players really blossom in. And so I'm excited to see what's there for him. But he's going to have to compete, and he's going to have to win it, whether it's a guy they bring in through the portal or Faison Brandon coming in.
Brian Rice, before we transition, I just want to ask you, because you lived it, saw it, and breathed it also, who would be more upset? The way Tennessee fans reacted to Ole Miss if Lane leaves?
Man, that's a tough one because, being there on campus that night he left. I think Tennessee fans probably reacted more viscerally because it was such a surprise.
Yeah.
We had about 2 hours to process the idea that he might even leave. With Ole Miss, you've known that he's going to be a candidate for every job that's come up over the last 3 years. He didn't go to Auburn when a lot of people expected him to. He didn't go to LSU last time when some people expected him to. Look, if I'm Lane Kiffin, I'm never leaving Oxford because they can pay you like those other schools, and you will never, ever, no matter what you do, have the same pressure that you'll have at Florida and LSU. You know, the governor of Mississippi is never going to do an interview about your job status. You know, the governor of Florida probably won't do that either, but Florida's been kind of a mess operationally. You don't know who your AD is going to be there in 2 or 3 years. So you don't know who your AD is necessarily going to be in 2 or 3 years at LSU. If I'm Lane Kiffin, I would take the money and stay in Oxford. I'm not. And Lane Kiffin is a guy who is uncomfortable in the spotlight, but is also most comfortable in the spotlight. So I wonder what his process is going to be. Look, part of me thinks this whole deal over the last couple of days has been a work just so it looks so much better when he stays. But I would stay, and so I think that clouds my judgment into thinking that Lane is going to stay ultimately. And if he does, what kind of upheaval does that lead to on the campuses of Florida and LSU? But yeah, Rowan, I think Tennessee fans definitely handled it a little more viscerally than Ole Miss fans will if he leaves.
Man, maybe security cameras go down at Oxford the way they did in Knoxville that night as well. Do they have an ugly sculpture, Brian, that they can try to tear down is really the important question.
I don't know that. No, I've been all over the Ole Miss campus. I haven't been there with softball, and they do not have a sculpture that looks like a transformer took a crap on the pedestrian ball. So, no.
Brian Rice of the Sports Animal, the Vol Network, with us. Brian, tomorrow night, Lady Vols basketball in town, taking on MTSU. Tennessee and Kim Caldwell have made it a priority to schedule really good in-state opponents. They went to UT Martin. They took on a really good Belmont team in the Food City Center, Thompson Bowling Arena. Now they get MTSU. How big of a challenge is this, Brian, for a Lady Vols team that has some questions they've got to answer early in the season, especially on offense?
Well, I mean, they better answer the questions because your next road trip right after Thanksgiving is at UCLA and at Stanford. That's the top 5 team and then the SEC-ACC Challenge. So you need to answer some of them. I think MTSU's in rebuild mode. Rebuild mode. They only returned 4 players from last year. One of the youngest teams in the country from doing the research for tomorrow night's game. But this is a big test to see how they react going on the road. Didn't handle it great at UT Martin. There was some adversity that isn't really adversity going on the road, and didn't handle it great. Yeah, it still won the game. But Middle Tennessee is going to have a huge crowd there tomorrow night. I think there's still some tickets available if you're wearing orange and want to go down there, or hey, if you want to wear blue and cheer against us, I'm fine with that being a great atmosphere regardless. But this is an opportunity for Tennessee to continue to gel. Losing Ruby Whitehorn between the exhibition game and the first game affected the rotations, affected the chemistry, affected everything. And they're still trying to figure it out since then. She's one of your most important players, was one of the most popular players on the roster, but you didn't feel like you had a choice to do anything other than what happened there. And so they're still trying to adjust to that. It's not an excuse, but they have to play their way through it because nobody's going to feel sorry for you. And I guarantee Rick Hensel and his team are not going to feel sorry for Tennessee on Thursday night. And they're going to give Tennessee their best shot because this is a rivalry that means a lot to him. It's a rivalry that means a lot to their program, and it's a rivalry that means a lot to fans. Tennessee teams don't come to the Murphy Center very often. And this is an opportunity for them, and I think Kim Caldwell selling to her team, look, you're going to get a Super Bowl-type punch because you're the Lady Vols, and you're going to get it especially here because this is an in-state team. Mm-hmm. You think what UT Martin swung at you was big, so it's going to be even bigger tomorrow night.
Well, and Brian, too, I'm curious how much Kim Caldwell can adjust her system and her style to this team because on paper, Brian, it seems like they've got more size. They've got more maybe athleticism in terms of long athletes. They maybe don't have the depth of just pure shooters that they had last year. Do you see them adjusting a little bit and maybe taking more advantage of their size? But how much of this also is Kim wanting to give her team time to try to fit her system? What's kind of that balance she's trying to strike right now?
Well, I think the biggest thing is Kim has always said that it takes until late December, early January for it to look anything like she wants it to look. Now, it didn't at Tennessee last year,
right,
partly because the schedule was front-loaded with teams that were not very good. I mean, you still had some teams that played Middle Tennessee in that stretch, but that was a home game. And that was really one of the toughest opponents that you played early on in the season. It allowed them to kind of get a good on-ramp into the system, and it looked more like she wanted earlier. But they didn't know anything about themselves, and so they didn't know how to close out a game against a tough opponent. They've learned some of those lessons now. I do think the three-point shooting is going to have to improve. Some of the players that are shooting at a lower percentage than you would expect, I think will come around on it. Mia Paldo, the freshman point guard, is hitting at a 36% clip right now, and she's been a star. She's a star in the making. So is her twin sister, Maya.
Yeah.
There's a lot of players. You're not getting much out of Denia Pearl right now. Reportedly, in a close scrimmage, she went for nearly 20 against North Carolina. So that's still there for her. You have these freshmen that are coming around. Jada Civil's very impressive as well. But, yeah, you have athletic height in the transfers, Janiah Barker and Jersey Wolfenbarger. You need more out of those players, and I think you're going to get it as they get more comfortable. And I think those big players being able to finish on the fast break, being able to finish after you get steals is going to be something that develops, and so is their role in the half-court offense. It's just not there yet, but they feel like it's going to get there, so I'm going to trust their judgment on that. But you're going to see, I think, a lot more out of those athletic forwards, and I can't leave out Z Spearman, who can do it at all three levels. She has had a slower start than she would have liked to the season, but when you look at her numbers, you go, if that's a slow start, the ceiling for this team and for her is off the charts.
Good. Man, real quick, your friend, ours, my brother, Ron Slay is distraught by that MTSU loss by Kelly, just so you know. He's in our YouTube chat and is like, what is the series, 24-1? He was like, that one game, Kelly's. He's just like, you're not supposed to lose to them. I ain't saying he hurt. He just bothered by the fact that Kelly gave it up. He said that's what got her fired.
It was the beginning of the end for a lot of reasons. That game, it was in Huntsville 2 years ago, and that is the only time I've gone to shoot around or hit around with a softball team or anything that I've known what was going to happen. It was cold in the arena because it's a hockey arena. They didn't, it was like 55 degrees in there, and I saw it on their faces, and I was like, uh-oh. And that's exactly what happened that night. Look, Middle Tennessee wanted that game. No, just like they want the game tomorrow night. They wanted it, and Tennessee was just there. And that's Kim Caldwell's challenge every time. Every team you play wants it against Tennessee. You've got to go want it too, and I think that's what she's looking to unlock every game. And they have a challenge on their hands tomorrow night. You can look at the record or whatever. They've got a huge challenge tomorrow night, and I hope the Orange will pack it. And if you can't make it, you can hear it on the Tennessee Athletics app with I don't know, some guy.
This guy, Brian Rice, on the call tomorrow night, 6:30 Central Time, Tennessee at Middle Tennessee in the Glass House. Brian, really appreciate the time as always. Good to talk to you.
Man, definitely.
Gentlemen, good to talk to you all as well.
Yes, sir. Brian Rice with us here this morning, talking a little bit of Tennessee football, a little bit of Lady Vols basketball. All right. It is way too early to do mock draft radio, Ramon, but in the interest of giving Titans fans a little bit of positivity, a little bit of a silver lining, a little bit of hope, ESPN's Matt Miller has a mock draft this morning at ESPN.com that includes a King's ransom trade that allows the Tennessee Titans to make 2 first-round picks. We'll tell you and just illustrate for you the kind of offseason we could be in store for in Nashville coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster for Low T Center, man. Guys, I'm telling y'all, man, you'll wish you had started it soon. It is TRT. Don't you just want to know what your level is? I promise you, it's probably lower than you think because you're probably feeling as if you're just tired or you just angry, just don't feel like doing stuff. Well, you can go out and get a free TRT test at Center Jackson Low T Center. You can walk in. Yes, just pull up before 10 a.m. or book ahead on the FixMyLowT.com website, man. And here's a testimonial. This guy said he was just like you before he went. to find out his T levels at Synergex and Low T Center. So he didn't even know testosterone was a thing until his buddy told him how tired he was since he turned 40. He told him, he said, he and most guys that we know all go to Synergex and Low T Center. And he said he finally went, and when he went in and took his test, he was shocked to find his T levels was below 300. I'm telling y'all, that's low, all right? But now that he's on testosterone replacement therapy at Synergex and Low T Center, he said he feels better about it, man. You can go ahead and get your focus, man. Go ahead and start off your life. I always say, again, we worry about the outside of what we got going on, but never worry about the inside. Fellas, go get your T levels tested, man. And on top of that, they'll also take your labs and figure out whatever else is going on with your body and how deficient you are in other areas. Fix yourself by going to fixmylowt.com and make sure you tell them that Ramon sent you.
All right, so you guys know how anti I am to doing off-season radio during the season. But, Ramon, sometimes things catch your eye to the extent that you make exceptions. Like ESPN's Matt Miller, friend of the show, who has a mock draft at ESPN.com this morning that has the Titans making 2 first-round picks. That is the kind of hope that I will sell to you on November the 19th.
They selling at an H to you, Will?
Just for 2 reasons. One, because I completely agree with the direction he goes with these first-round picks. And B, it illustrates the kind of offseason the Tennessee Titans could be in line to have.
Right.
A transformational draft in 2026. If things go your direction, you get the draft pick that you feel like can change things. You make a trade. Somebody's willing to make a deal, and you make some moves. So,
talk to the people, Will.
Matt Miller writes at ESPN.com this morning. Armed with 2 first-round picks and an additional second-round pick in 2026, thanks to the deadline trades of cornerback Sauce Gardner and defensive tackle Quinnen Williams, the Jets are moving up to Tennessee's spot at number 1 in this mock draft. Since the Titans used the 2025 number 1 pick on Cam Ward, they could be convinced to move down and accumulate draft capital to build around their young QB. Yes, yes, and yes. In this deal, Ramon, this is the kind of trade the Titans could make this offseason if they moved their first-round pick. Both of the Jets' first-round picks at 4 and 28 in this exercise, and their 2027 second-round pick.
That's a dub.
To the Titans in order to take quarterback Fernando Mendoza out of Indiana.
He'll go from 1 to 4, also get 28, and also get a 27 second.
Which, the way the Jets are going right now, is essentially another 1.
Yeah, absolutely. You move up.
100%. With the number 4 pick, Matt Miller has the Tennessee Titans selecting Arizona State wide receiver Jordan Tyson. The big play deep threat, he writes, that Tennessee's offense is missing, as he has 57 receptions for 628 yards and 8 touchdowns this season after catching 75 passes for 1,100 yards and 10 touchdowns in 2024. Saying at 6'2", 200, he doesn't have hulking size, but elevates to play the ball in the air like a much larger player while still providing the speed to rip off big runs. With its young offensive line building chemistry, the best thing Tennessee can do for Cam Ward is build up a cast of young wide receivers around him like Cincinnati did for Joe Burrow. Matt, my brother in Christ, you are reading my mind.
You here for that.
Here for all of it. Cam Ward needs a guy to catch deep passes. I am more willing to put up with the bad from Cam Ward if you give me more good. That may sound really stupid and really simple.
It makes sense.
I think it does too.
Yeah, it makes a crazy amount of sense by saying it like that.
Jordan Tyson with the 4th overall pick, you signing up for that?
Absolutely. Looking at the volume that he's caught the football says a lot. That's one thing I was taught about wide receivers in college is, okay, don't look at the yards. Look at how many touches they've had at the football, how many targets they get, because those guys who have those 65-plus, 70-plus, 80-plus catches a year, those guys are used to volume. Those guys are used to beating guys. That isn't just a scheme over type of situation. 40 catches for 800 to 1,000 yards, okay, that tells me the scheme has worked for you. But if you're catching 65, 70, 85 footballs a year, absolutely. You are used to beating people. That's what I don't think this team has right now.
It is irresponsible to ever describe a draft as no matter where you are picking, you have to end up with X, Y, or Z. There may not be a wide receiver worthy in April of the number 4 overall pick or wherever the Titans end up. Maybe they don't even get number 1 and they've got to stick and pick where they are. So it would be overly simplifying this for me to say, hey, they've got to just do this no matter what. That being said, Ramon, whatever it takes, however, you've got to move down or move up, because the Titans, 10 years from this draft, also, the last time they had the number 1 overall pick and traded it, made a deal with the LA Rams to move back. Then they actually moved back up into the top 10 when they took Jack Conklin. A lot of people forget about that. The Titans moved back to the middle of the first round, then used what they got from the Rams and moved up to take Jack Conklin. Whatever you've got to do, Ramon, I think you need to find your number 1 receiver for Cam Ward in this draft. I don't care if that's with a second-round pick. I don't care if that's with your second first-round pick. I don't care if it's with your first-round pick. I don't care if you got to move back twice. You got to move up. No matter how you do it, whoever is at the top of your board, Ramon, I think it is critical for them to get a young wide receiver to grow with Cam Ward over the course of both of their rookie contracts. I am going to be all in on this from now until April. The names at the top of that board, Ramon, are probably going to change between now and then. I don't care. Arvell Reese may be a good player. Peter Woods may be a good player. TJ Parker may be a good player. Jermon McCoy. We're going to talk corners. We're going to talk all of it. We will analyze all of it till the cows come home.
Yes, we will.
I want the number one receiver for Cam Ward out of this draft. I think it is critical for Cam Ward's development.
I'll tell you one position I don't want to see be drafted here.
Okay.
First, I don't say not drafted here. Yeah, that one.
Okay.
That one's my secondary one, but the first one is edge. I don't think the necessary need to go get an edge early is
I agree.
What's Bain out of
Reuben
Miami?
Bain Jr.
Reuben Bain
Miami.
Jr.
Keldrick Falk at Auburn will be a popular one.
It's just so many factors that kind of go into them being successful. The defensive scheme.
Agreed.
The measurables, how they're going to add up. What is their specialty? Can they play the run?
Agreed.
It's just a lot, and I don't think this team is built for, hey, you got to go get an edge player right now. Now, you go get one in the third round, all right, that's a different conversation. But to use the first-round pick on an edge, I think Abdul Carter is going to be fine. But look at the questions behind that. Now, let me go real quick and brag a little bit because I was on the Ted McMillan train.
You were. He looked pretty dang good last week.
And he looks good.
Yeah, he did.
I think he's leading rookies in receiving yards, too, this year, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe you're right. Yep.
Now, who's this benefited to your problem, to your point about
Bryce Young benefits from that.
There we go.
And two, I think you have an opportunity to continue if Jeffrey Simmons is still on the team in 2026, which we believe is going to be the case. There are lesser edge rushers who can succeed because they're playing next to Jeff versus the opposite on offense, where you need more wide receiver help to get more out of Cam. Like, you know what the pass rush is going to be as long as Jeffrey Simmons is healthy. The floor is pretty high.
Yeah.
You're seeing it right now in the production that Jahad Ward, Draymond Jones, and Arden Key have had this season in Titans jerseys. Now, the other thing they've got to address is corner. And with the second first-round pick, Matt Miller has the Tennessee Titans selecting Tennessee Vol Colton Hood with the 28th overall pick in a projected trade with the New York Jets. One of two Tennessee corners who Matt Miller has going in the first round. Jermon McCoy at 11, Colton Hood at 28.
Just for the people that be like, you want him because of all, go watch the tape. That's all I would say. Before we go further in the draft world, watch the tape.
We're not getting too far into player evaluations now because we don't even know if these guys are going to be healthy. I mean, injuries are going to happen. Guys are going to emerge. Guys are going to fall. Like, there's a lot of time left. We're not going to go into prospects that much yet. The fact of the matter is, the headline is, you trade back, you're able to get a wide receiver and a corner in the first round, sign me up. Dream scenario for the Titans. Coming up, hour number 3, second half of the show. There is a player that was reported to be very interested in entering the portal. Tennessee might be interested, but it begs the question, what's the price of a quarterback in the transfer portal in 2026? And should Tennessee be in that market for a high-priced transfer quarterback? We'll dive into that next.
It's Ramon Foster for Medical House Calls. Y'all, it's about to get cold. It's about to get rainy. It's about to get gray outside, and you don't want those types of things affecting your health, man. If you, like I do, and like I know my brother Ron Slay does, want to get fixed, you got to use medicalhousecalls.com, man. That is a website. They're available to you 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Same-day appointments are available to you, next day guaranteed. I'll make it even easier for you. You can also call or text them at 615-838-2375. They do everything you can think of, man. They're trying to bring back the concierge to medicine, where you're not waiting in germ-filled urgent care rooms, appointments that don't fit your schedule, uprooting your life, your kids, your schedule just to go see the doctor. We get it. Sometimes your bosses just don't let you off when you need to go have something done for you. Well, guess what? Medical House Calls is bringing them to you just so you can have that concierge, that VIP treatment, okay? For a flat fee, you'll get an evaluation, full exam treatment plan, and get this, prescriptions if you need it. We get it. Most times you get kind of weirded out by talking to doctors and, hey, inside of the offices, they make you feel small. No, this isn't the case. From fighting flu to whatever you have going on and with urgent care, just life, they can do that for you. Again, this website is medicalhousecalls.com. They're bringing the medicine to you. Again, and make sure you tell them that Ramon sent you.
8:03, good morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. In Titans news yesterday, wide receiver James Prochet was signed to the active roster as they officially placed Calvin Ridley on injured reserve. The Titans also signed 2 wide receivers to the practice squad in Lance McCutcheon and Christian Wilkerson. In other NFL news yesterday, Texans head coach DeMeco Ryans declared that quarterback C.J. Stroud will miss his 3rd consecutive game this week, and backup quarterback Davis Mills will get the start, who's 2-0 so far in his relief. The Texans host the Bills tomorrow night for Thursday Night Football. In college hoops last night, number 17 Michigan State hands number 12 Kentucky their 2nd loss of the season as the Spartans win 83-66, and number 5 Duke improved to 5-0 on the season as they beat number 24 Kansas 78-66. Freshman Cameron Boozer had 18 points and 10 rebounds for the Blue Devils in the win. And the new college football playoff rankings and projected bracket were released last night. Texas, after their loss to Georgia, fall out of the projected 12-team bracket and is replaced by Oklahoma, who beat Alabama on Saturday. The Sooners come in at number 8. Tulane replaces South Florida as the Group of 5 team at number 12, and Georgia replaces Alabama in the top 4 as the Tide drop to number 10. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Second half of the show, getting started on your Wednesday morning edition of Ramon and Will, fueled by Scooter's Coffee. Brett Bryan joins us in an hour. We're going to talk about Cam Ward and expectations again in 15 minutes. I do feel like we've had this conversation a lot, but the supporting cast keeps changing around Cam. Does that matter? We'll dive into it coming up next. Plus, Nick Holtz gave a really interesting breakdown of why one layup play that Cam missed on Sunday was missed. Kurt Warner even talking about this on Twitter.
Yeah, he did.
I don't know if you guys saw this, but you will hear about it coming up. Some very interesting things about play design, about coaching, about Cam. We'll dive into all that coming up here in 15 minutes. You can hop in at 615-737-1045 or in the F&M Bank chat, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. So yesterday, Steve Wiltfong and Pete Nakos of On3 say that Arizona State quarterback Sam Leavitt is actively shopping the talented passer at a high level to other programs with the plan of, I should put this better, they've learned the camp of Sam Leavitt is actively shopping him at a high level to other programs with the plan of entering the transfer portal when the window is open on January 2nd. Now, On3 is saying that Leavitt's return to Arizona State is, quote, doubtful. His brother Dallin is his agent through CAA. He put on his Instagram story a text exchange with On3's Pete Nakos that says, why would you report this? This is not true. We are still making our decision, which is actually exactly what On3 reported, was that they were still trying to make a decision. They said that he is, quote, still deciding what to do. Then you have CBS Sports at 247 that say the salary of a quarterback of Leavitt's caliber will be $3 million plus next season. 2 questions for you, Ramon, that really I want the same answer on both of them. Is it worth it for college football programs to spend $3 million on a quarterback? Secondly, is it worth it for Tennessee to shop in this price range for a transfer portal quarterback in 2026?
Is it smart for them? Is it smart for them to shop in this price range? It's just what the market has set. So I'm going to say yes. Does Tennessee need to go shop for a guy like this? I say no. You have one of those at home that you can grow up and mature your own self. I think if you're a team that feels like you got the ends to go do this and you got money to spend and this is going to not even take you to a national championship, but get you more relevant. The school that comes to mind to me, and I think they got a 5-star coming in already, but Houston. Right? Houston would pay $3 million, I feel like, with the money and funds that they have. I think you look at a team like SMU. I think they'll play into that world. There are teams that I think who are just trying to get back to being relevant. $3 million to me can be a deal for you, considering what they said Carson Beck got $4 million. from Miami to get Virginia, if they got money to spend, if you're looking at, perfect. I got the perfect destination for him.
Where's that?
Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech is going to be in the market. How about Indiana replacing Fernando Mendoza?
Indiana.
How about Alabama or potentially replacing Ty Simpson? I know they've got Keelan Russell. They've got some guys. But again, that doesn't stop programs.
Ain't ever stop no show.
What about Auburn with potentially John Summerall as their new head coach? What about Florida?
Missouri.
If DJ Lagway decides to leave because he doesn't want to stick around. Bo Prabula should be back next season for Missouri. But I think the point is Penn State with a new head coach.
Michigan State.
The point is that as hot as the coaching market is, it might make it even more costly to go find a quarterback because all of these first-year head coaches are going to need first-year quarterbacks. So On3's NIL valuations, I was looking at this yesterday of transfer quarterbacks this year and reportedly what they got paid. And Ramon, you tell me how many of these teams are going to make the playoff. Carson Beck, $3.1 million valuation at Miami.
Right now, they leapfrog Alabama. They're in.
Right now, they are in as an ACC team, as an ACC champion. They've got to still win their conference championship.
Yeah, they do.
Georgia Tech and Haynes King may have something to say about that as well.
King Haynes.
Your guy.
There we go.
Fernando Mendoza, $2.6 million NIL valuation. He was signed for just north of $2 million, according to reports in the offseason.
He's in.
That's not the top level of quarterback salaries in NIL in college, but it's also not low.
But I know
That's
next
a playoff
year,
team.
if it is somebody like Sam Levitt, that price goes from 2.6. You say?
That's what I'm saying.
It's about 3.1.
That's why I was just saying, like, $3 million is kind of where conversations are going to start
easily.
And then when you add in the fact that the transfer portal is going to be even hotter with quarterbacks because you've got a lot of first-year head coaches who need their quarterbacks, I think we're talking $4 million at the top of the market. Speaking of $4 million, Darian Mensah signed for that on 5-5 Duke. $4 million, Ramon. Did that work out for Duke?
No, it did not. It got them off-season press. It got them hyped going into the season. But as far as the wins and losses, absolutely not.
Okay, well, they probably went too far in the pendulum of quarterback without addressing some other things. Now, for Duke, they've still not had a bad season, but they've not been $4 million worth of good. Now, Mensah has multiple years. Might not just be there this year. So, again, we'll see. Brennan Sorsby.
Who?
Next to low, Cincinnati quarterback. He's got a huge game against BYU this weekend that Vandy fans will be watching very closely because Vandy needs a BYU loss in order to get into the playoff. BYU or Utah loss. Transferred from Indiana before the 2024 season. He has played himself into being a high-level NIL quarterback. Was not a big money signing when he went to Cincinnati. John Mateer, $3 million, what he signed for. The team? Likely playoff team. Here's the caveat, Ramon. That's a defensive head coach program. That is, I think, the lesson we are maybe starting to learn. Spend your NIL money on the opposite of what your head coach majors in. If you've got a head coach that is specifically on one side of the ball. For Brent Venables at an Oklahoma program, pairing up John Mateer and his previous stops, offensive coordinator Ben Arbuckle, made a lot of sense. You're managing the defense. You need more value on offense.
Yeah, it was looking at his situation, too. He just needed a quarterback that wasn't going to mess it up. And I'm not going to, undermine what John Mateer is. He was good and exciting for them, extended drives and stuff like that. But to your point, he needed a manager. And I think that's what John Mateer has somewhat been for him this year, too.
Well, I don't know
more
if
than a manager, though.
I don't know if he was supposed to be that, though.
No, I don't think he
after
was.
His hand injury, he was kind of forced to become, I think, more of a game
But
manager.
his pitch now is, you come here, my defense going to give you the ball.
Right.
Yeah.
That one, I think, is a little bit of a different scenario because, again, you have such a defensive head coach and the fact that he had his hand cut open like a month and a half ago.
That's true, too.
And he's already playing again. Bo Prabula, valued at $1.5 million. I think this could have been a playoff team if he'd stayed healthy.
Yeah. And that price going up next year, too.
I agreed.
Yeah.
But I think that price range for NIL quarterbacks was kind of sensible when you look at him and you look at who Tennessee has in Joey Aguilar. Around $1.2 million, reportedly, what he was brought in for. That, I think, is once again, Ramon, the neighborhood that Tennessee needs to be in for a quarterback in the 2026 offseason. Because of the 10 top-rated NIL valuated quarterbacks in college football, On3 does this. They have NIL valuations of what players are worth in terms of an NIL number on the market. Of the 10, Ramon, 4 of them are on likely playoff teams. And now, that doesn't mean that these quarterbacks were all signed for what this number is. It means that they've played themselves into this being their valuation.
Yeah.
None of the top 4 On3 NIL valuated quarterbacks are on teams that are going to be in the playoff. Arch Manning, Carson Beck, Bryce Underwood, Lenore Sellers. Now, 5 through 8 are Fernando Mendoza, Ty Simpson, Dante Moore, Julian Sayin. 9 and 10 on this list, Jaden Mayava, Taylon Green.
Okay. So 5 through 8 is a sweet spot, is what you're telling me. As far as the price and what you're going to pay for.
Again, doesn't mean that you are paying that contract. Yeah. It means that through the play that some of these guys have after they already signed a deal, maybe for 1.5, you think Joey Aguilar's earned more opportunities based on how he's played this year?
Yeah, no doubt.
Absolutely he has.
No doubt.
But is the deal brokered maybe by the collective or by the university? That probably looks different than what Joey's actual number looks like now, because I imagine that he's earned more by the way he has played. He has created more value for himself.
Mm-hmm.
So again, not a tried and true number of just like, hey, you want to be between the 5th and 8th highest paid. It's going to look different because you might have the 25th highest paid quarterback of the offseason. That guy might play so well. Yeah. By the end of the season, he's the 5th most valuable quarterback. How does this work for Tennessee, Ramon? What kind of market do you think the Vols need to be in for a quarterback in 2026?
I'd say $750 to $950, to be quite honest with you. For a backup, the backup shouldn't. I'm not sure what George is going to get if we perceive him to be the starter going into the next season, but there has to be a balance in like your free agent market of the guys that you have playing backup for. It's just like if you got Ryan Tannehill, his backup's probably going to make $1.2 million in the NFL. You just don't do that unless you know at some point you're going to count on this guy. Now, the issue that you run into is finding that diamond in the rough player. The same way I feel like Lane found Trinidad Chambliss. I'm not sure what Trinidad Chambliss got, but I feel like Lane said, he's my guy nobody knows about, and I'm bringing him here with me. What do you think?
We knew about Fernando Mendoza.
No, Trinidad Chambliss.
Yeah, fair.
About 900 to $1 million, maybe for him.
Maybe
is what I expect. That's what you want. I don't think you should have in college a backup quarterback that's making over one. In my personal opinion, just the economy of it, the economics of it. I mean. And just the balance of how you build the rest of your team.
Trinidad Chambliss reportedly signed a $500,000 NIL contract with Ole Miss when he transferred from Ferris State.
That's what I'm saying.
His other offer was $300,000 reportedly from Temple, who was also trying to recruit him.
That's all I'm saying. I'm with you in saying the quality, but that's only a matter if you're going to put that guy in a real competition and make him your dude, you give him $1 million. I don't think the economics should allow that to be the case. College coaches and NILs are stupid. I'm going to call them foolish if they push up the backup quarterback market down. You can get a starting DN, wide receiver, safety for that price.
Yeah.
Starters.
I think Josh Heupel's system allows quarterbacks and wide receivers to make themselves more valuable on the football field. I do not think it is in Tennessee's best interest to shop in the Sam Leavitt sweepstakes. To be in the $3 to $4 million, because I think the value of some of these players is going to be so inflated at quarterback by the demand for these first-year head coaches at win-now programs to go get their guys right away. Auburn is going to need a legit number one unless they want to go with their young freshman that's in place right now. But again, is that freshman sticking around without the quarterback coach and Hugh Freeze that recruited him? Penn State is going to need an immediate turnaround, because when you're brought in at Penn State to be the coach of that program, you've got to immediately produce results that are better than the guy before you and James Franklin, who is doing a pretty good job. Well, that requires you to go get a pretty dang good quarterback in the market to begin with. If you're John Summerall going to Auburn or Florida, you got to win right away. There's no time to wait. Like, you've got to go get your guy. So Tennessee is bidding against, Vanderbilt could be bidding against programs that are more desperate in the short term than you are at quarterback. Tennessee doesn't need to do that. Tennessee can take, I think, a $1 million quarterback and turn him into a $4 million quarterback. And I don't want to reduce people to numbers because these are human beings. These are football players. It's not just like, you're worth $1 million. Like, obviously, that's a very simple way to look at it.
This is how we have to talk about it.
It is. And I don't like that about college kids, but it is the reality of where the sport is.
You say that. No, never mind. I'm not going to go that route. But what happens when those dudes don't pan out, though, too? Or
coaches get fired.
They abruptly get kicked off the team because they don't buy into the system.
Look what happened at Auburn. Your coach gets fired. Auburn and Duke are on opposite ends of the spectrum in this. Don Davenport's two teams. Look at that.
I know.
Auburn got quarterback wrong and built a pretty good roster.
Yep.
And it all came crumbling down. Duke, I know, has different expectations. They haven't been nearly as bad as Auburn against those expectations. Duke spent a ton of money on quarterback and had nothing else around him.
Mm-hmm.
The answer for most teams, is going to be somewhere in the middle.
Unless you are Texas Tech.
Well, Texas Tech just has money to... Texas Tech can overpay for everyone. Teams like Tennessee, no one else has that luxury.
Nobody. Right now. I wonder how long.
Nobody has the money that Texas Tech has.
How long does that last, though, too?
As long as there's oil in the ground.
No, there's a certain point the results have to happen, though, too.
Well, then you'll just get a different coach in to take that money and do something different with it. I think Texas Tech is not, that money's not drying up anytime soon.
I'm with you there, but a trophy has to go into the case.
Well, I think it's about to in the Big 12. Does Big 12 trophy count? I mean,
I'll speak of nationals when you're spending that type of money.
Yeah, I think it's certainly they can win the national championship.
They could.
I mean, they're probably on the very, 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 very outside of teams that could win it, but they could.
Now, they'll pay to steal a coach, I believe.
Huh? What do you...
I think if it doesn't work with the coaching schematics, I think they will pay a coach to leave in the sitting situation.
Maybe.
With what they're doing.
Maybe. I think they've got a pretty good thing going right now, though.
Okay.
Texas Tech. Number 5 team in the country. What went wrong on the wide open miss from Cam Ward to Mason Kinsey over the weekend? Kurt Warner broke this down. Nick Holtz talked about it, Titans offensive coordinator. How do we need to reset expectations, or do we at all need to reset expectations with the injuries the Titans have had pile up at the wide receiver position? We dive into that coming up next. Buying or selling in the real estate market in Nashville is a challenge. You need an experienced local agent who knows the neighborhood. Hey, what's going on? It's Will Bowling here for my friend Bernie Gallerani of Bernie Gallerani Real Estate. He guarantees to sell your home in 30 days or less, or he'll buy it. No risk to you. Bernie will let you out of the contract at any time. The real estate agent who has the 30-day guarantee to sell your home. If not, he'll buy it from you. If you are ready to sell your home, start by knowing its true value. Bernie can help with that as well. His new home value estimator is fast, free, and easy. Just go to BernieGallerani.com. Right at the top of the homepage, click on how much is your home really worth. You could be sitting in a gold mine and not even realize it. You're going to have your answer in 30 seconds. 615-428-2644. That is Bernie Gallerani's personal cell phone number. My friend Bernie is going to help you. It's going to be fast, easy, efficient, and you're going to have the peace of mind of his 30-day guarantee. You can also just Google Bernie Gallerani Real Estate or head online to BernieGallerani.com. You can call him 615-428-2644. What if you could pull up to $500,000 in cash out of your home and drop your mortgage rate to 4.99% APR? Hey, it's Will Bowling. Right now at Loan Pronto, they've got the lowest rates in 3 years. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can get your cash in as little as 3 days. Pay off all those high-interest credit cards and even skip your next 2 house payments. One client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours, paid off their debt, paid off 2 car loans, and saved $2,100 a month. One call, life changed. There's no wait, no hard credit pull up front. You probably won't need an appraisal, just fast, easy cash from your home's equity. Rates are at a 3-year low, so act now. Call 615-499-5780 or visit loanpronto.com for your free instant home appraisal. See how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto, A+ rated with the BBB and nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call 615-499-5780 and see how much cash you can get today. LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. On approved credit, visit NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Ramona Will, 104.5 The Zone, fueled by Scooters Coffee, hour number 3. Behind every missed play in a football game at any level, Ramon, there's always a story. It's why it is hard sometimes to do QB breakdowns because you've got a scheme, you've got a throw that's got to be made, you've got a receiver that's got to run a route. The Tennessee Titans right now have a lot of receivers running routes with Cam Ward in game action, like for the first time. That's what happened on Sunday. So Mason Kinsey was open. Wheel route, red zone, Cam Ward missed him. Mason's back was turned to the stands. Cam threw it behind him. What happened on this play? Offensive coordinator Nick Holt spoke to the media yesterday and diagnosed what the issues were.
To that, there's an element of, obviously they hadn't gotten that rep during the week, and it was kind of a newish play we've put in, and it's something that Cam has done a bunch in Miami, right? So that's a play we've been working on and kind of that. So he had got a bunch of those. So Mason's a little deep, a little deeper than he should be, and then he can wheel up, probably get a little wider, and then if we can get a better pin on the end, Cam can set up a little bit and probably throw an easier ball. So there's a lot of factors in that one. It's just probably a little bit of two guys not, kind of totally being on the same page of where it should go, and it was unfortunate because it could have been a big one.
So that's Titans offensive coordinator Nick Holtz talking yesterday. Ramon, how hard is it as an offensive lineman or as a wide receiver to play with a quarterback you have had minimal practice reps with?
I would expect it to be pretty tough. Usually in these situations, a wide receiver coming in a situation like Mason Kinsey usually have two other starters in the game with them. And the quarterback usually don't go to those guys unless it's an obvious route. Hey, a sit down, like a stop route, angle route. Those types of situations like that, a comeback, those situations right there happen with backup wide receivers until you build a little bit more of a rapport. For him to be your main target on a big play like that, it's rare. I don't want to call it rare, but it's not usual that you are in those types of situations. So, he missed them. Point blank period.
So I think it's interesting. On this play, Gunnar Helm is sealing off a defender. Does a good job, too, in giving Cam a block so he can roll out and throw with space around him, without a defender around him. When you watch a lot of the film of Cam Ward at Miami, Ramon, this play looked different. Restrepo actually ran this route a lot. You run out about 5 yards, you put your hands up like you want an out route, and then you turn the corner, you turn your shoulders around and run along the sideline, and then your back is turned the other way. So it's a wheel route where you are faking like you're going outside, and then all of a sudden you get that flat defender or the underneath defender to commit. Yep. Then you swing your hips and shoulders around and run upfield. Two things are different about the way the Titans ran this to what Miami ran. First of all, Mason Kinsey is not close to the sideline. Mason Kinsey is not on the hash marks. I think you would like for him to be closer to the sideline on this play. Secondly, Cam Ward threw these from the pocket. Does not roll out nearly as much in Miami. So Kurt Warner talked about this on Twitter. Kurt Warner responding to, I believe, Justin Mello, another friend of the show, about what went wrong here. Kurt Warner, NFL Network, Westwood One, Super Bowl winning quarterback. You know who he is. He tweets, "For me, I have no idea why you run this concept with a rollout. No idea how the wide receiver is supposed to look back at the quarterback with that angle. This can be a really good play from the pocket, and wide receiver always looks back to the inside and definitely squeezes the sideline more. But just no idea how the wide receiver can feasibly run this double move and see the quarterback if they want him to keep running down the field." Kurt Warner says, "I blame the play concept more than I blame the wide receiver / quarterback in any way on this one." Simply saying that if you want Mason to do that and you want Cam to roll out, you've got to have eyes in the back of your head at that angle if the quarterback's right behind you to know where he is. Is that fair? Do you agree?
No, that's exactly. I mean, Kurt Warner's a Super Bowl winning quarterback, Hall of Famer. Of course, he's right on this one without knowing the entirety of the play, but he knows the concept of what's supposed to happen on these situations right here. So having Gunnar Helm block the defensive end at the rush that they have. Maybe have it a different situation where you pull an offensive lineman and get him outside on the edge right there too. So start there first. Have his angle a little bit better. And then also, if you're going to work on this and you love the idea that Cam throws on the run, How about coaching them and tell them, hey, set your feet, throw the football this way. You're going to have more time. Everybody's got something dirty about their job. Yours is to take hits and complete plays on situations like that, too. And also, when you're talking to Mason Kinsey, like, control yourself. Be an athlete in those situations, too. Like, there is a component of it to where, what is the catch, right? What is the 49ers catch in the Super Bowl with the tight end? Was that a better catch or a better pass? It's a better catch than it was pass, in my personal opinion, because you got to go up and make plays. There's that side of it, too, to where when we were talking about the mock draft conversation earlier, having guys of that pedigree that's able to make those types of plays is crucial for a roster. Those guys aren't on this team right now to make those plays. You do make quarterbacks right in those situations. A 5-yard slot, a 5-yard slant for a touchdown, is that the pass or is the wide receiver? It's the wide receiver. Right? And you don't have that luxury right now. So for the coaches that are, to Kurt Warner's point, drawing this up, calling these plays, know your personnel. And that also means know Cam. Get Cam to plant his feet or set it up to where he's got blockers in front of him more than a rookie tight end blocking the vet so that he can set his feet. There's a lot of just technique that has to be corrected for Cam Ward going into next year. I think it is as obvious as anything moving forward. This play right here shows that in real live time where that score could have taken you to a point to where momentum would have been gained throughout the duration of the season. This is just coaching malpractice, players misunderstanding, and just a bad roster. It's really like, it's bad.
It's a mess.
It is bad.
It's a mess beyond just the quarterback missing things. Were there throws that Cam Ward could have made in this game with a proper play that was given to him and a wide receiver that was open? Yes. Is Cam Ward the biggest problem with the Titans offense? In my opinion, no. So we put out the title of the show this morning, as we do on Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, that says, fair expectations for Cam Ward with injuries piling up for Titans wide receivers. And Scoob at Paul Oldenburg 11, one of our diehard listeners, we love Scooby and appreciate him, responds 2 hours ago and says, a good quarterback is supposed to elevate the players around him. I think that's fair, but Ramon, how much can these players around him be elevated? Where is the expectation? What is Cam's role in elevating the guys around him? Because at the end of this game on Sunday against the Houston Texans, he only had 2 healthy wide receivers that he had available to elevate. We've got to be realistic about what we expect and what we are asking Cam Ward to do when his running backs combine for 25 rushing yards and you have Van Jefferson and Mason Kinsey left to catch passes at the wide receiver position who are healthy by the end of the game. It's no slight to them. There's no NFL team, Ramon, that's going to be overly dynamic and fun on offense with 2 healthy wide receivers by the end of the game, unless those 2 receivers are like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Unless you've got 2 dudes that are the 2 guys available. So if it's Cam Ward's job to elevate these guys, Ramon, what level can we expect Cam really to elevate them to?
At this point in the season, I think that entire conversation is a wash. I think you're at ground zero with Cam. The idea that he's going to elevate anybody right now, too, because there's not much of a baseline that he has to work off of. You spoke earlier when we were joking off air. You watched a little bit of the Manning cast. What was Peyton telling Geno Smith in the game?
Running back's open. Check it down. He said, don't get bored. If the running back is still there and those linebackers keep sinking in coverage and zone coverage, just check it down.
Make it boring. I feel like coming into this year, the expectation of what the legend of Cam was coming out of college, how he's elevated every place that he's been to, and how good he can be and the potential of him didn't allow for him to have that conversation right there that Peyton Manning probably got after his rookie year or into his rookie year, or the understanding of what quarterbacks need to be okay with doing. And that is checking down and taking what's in front of you. All the plays that we've seen, I feel like, from Cam have been over 10 yards or down the field or trying to have an explosive play. So to say how can he elevate anybody right now, I don't think he will. I don't think he can this year in general. So to give you that answer will be how he won't this year. What you'll see is dynamic plays from him the same way you did from Chig. You'll see dynamic misses the same way that you saw with Mason Kinsey on that play. And here and there, you'll see spurts of what you hope it could be moving forward. But he has, and I've said this before, no baseline for playing this position at a simple rate at all.
Not in the NFL.
Not in the NFL.
Right.
So to ask of him to roll out and complete passes on a run, it just ain't in him right now because, to your point, the talent ain't there. The expectations, yes, I will say this, of a franchise quarterback is, and has always been this way in my mind, a franchise quarterback's supposed to win half the games by himself. Say what you want to about it, that's just how it has to go. And the team wins everything else. But the franchise guy is, to his point, elevating the other players and why they get paid so much. It is to elevate the players around you. But he's not at that point right now, and that wasn't embedded in him in his rookie year.
Yeah. Coming into this weekend, Ramon, I was looking at the stats of Titans wide receivers compared to Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Don't do this.
I'm going to have to.
Okay.
Titans wide receivers have 97 catches for 1,126 yards. Jackson Smith and Jigba has 1,146 yards on 72 catches. Jackson Smith and Jigba, the number one wide receiver of the Seattle Seahawks, has more receiving yards than Titans wide receivers by 20 yards this season.
That's tough.
Two things are true.
That's tough.
The Titans' pass offense, because of their quarterback, has not been good enough. Some of that lies on Cam Ward. Some of that lies on offensive line not blocking long enough for guys to get open. Some of that is on wide receivers not catching catchable passes.
Talent.
Some of that is on the fact that this team lacks a number one, and when we set our expectations before the season for what Cam Ward could be, we thought that Calvin Ridley could have a potential record-breaking season as the wide receiver one of the Tennessee Titans. Well, he's not going to be here for the rest of this season. After Jackson Smith and Jigba, you know what the Seahawks have? Cooper Kupp, 390 yards. No other player has over 200 yards receiving who's wide receiver on the Seattle Seahawks. Torrey Horton, 161 on 13 catches. Their next guy isn't even over 100 total receiving yards this season at wide receiver. Cody White, Derek Young, who I just learned was a human yesterday, respectfully, and Rashid Shaheed, who they just traded for. Taking away a number one wide receiver on a team that doesn't have depth at wide receiver has to mean the expectations get reset. Imagine if you took Jackson Smith and Jigba away from Sam Darnold.
Oh, my. Cooper Kupp? I mean, that's what the Titans have right now, respectfully. And Cooper Kupp's cooked in this league. He's a clutch guy, though.
Coming up, I'm going to tell you what the adjustment is. You're missing all these wide receivers. I've got a go-to guy, Ramon, I want to see a lot more of this weekend that we'll talk about next.
For many of us, it's happening. Your hair is thinning, your crown's disappearing. Maybe hair loss has you feeling your identity is lost altogether. Well, I've got good news. It's an incredible yet simple one-day treatment that starts growing your own natural hair the very next day and is guaranteed to grow for life. It's the Advanced FUE from Advanced Hair. We've all seen the pills and lotions that come with monthly subscriptions. They help retain what you have, but what if you want your own natural hair to permanently grow in specific areas? From advanced hair state-of-the-art facilities to the world-class doctors, it's not maybe your hair will regrow. It's guaranteed that your new hair will grow. You decide how much, how thick, and where you want it. Is why Advanced Hair have changed tens of thousands of lives, and I recommend them to everyone. For your free consultation and $250 off and 250 free hair grafts, call 629-348-HAIR. That's 629-348-HAIR. Or visit their website at advancedhair.com.
Wrapping up hour 3 on Ramon and Will, fueled by Scooters Coffee, 104.5 The Zone. Ramon Foster, Will Bowling, Rhett Bryan in 15 minutes, talking Titans and Seahawks. So, on expectations and on how you move forward with so many banged-up receivers starting this weekend against the Seattle Seahawks, Ramon, there is one guy that I think needs to become a go-to guy to address a Titans weakness. And I think you know who I'm going to say.
Jeffrey Simmons?
No. On offense.
On offense? Who they need to go to address? Oh, I got it.
Gunnar Helm.
Oh, Tajay. No?
I mean, Tajay, I think in the past game, sure, on third downs.
Okay.
We've seen him become a bigger part of this offense. I need to see a lot more targets for Gunnar Helm in a perfect world.
Understood.
I think the Titans did a better job of protecting Cam Ward enough for him to convert third and medium to long on Sunday. Titans actually struggled in third and short. They missed 4 opportunities, I believe, on 3rd and 6 or less. That 95-yard drive doesn't happen if Gunnar Helm doesn't make a tough, contested catch in man coverage for a 6-yard gain on a 3rd and 5 to keep the chains moving when the Titans were still underneath the shadow of their own goalpost. I think you go more 12 personnel. I think you use your 2 tight ends as go-to guys in the pass game. When you've got to get 5 yards on 3rd and 4, I want to see Gunnar Helm become the guy because, Ramon, he is the one that consistently wins in man coverage and is making the toughest catches on this team when there's a guy all over.
And he's got the unique skill set for it, too. Catching the football has not been a problem for him. It's a matter of just getting it to him is what they got to do. Now, again, when you're trying to satisfy other players, I go back to the coaching staff on these type of situations right here. Why are you trying to go down the field when you don't have those capabilities to do that consistently? Go to the guys that, one, know how to catch the ball. And at this point, for me, it's Chig, and it is, to your point, Gunnar Helm. Use it as your advantage against teams that are getting after your quarterback quickly, because here's the other part of it, too. Those 2 guys in particular, Gunnar and Chig, they're around the line of scrimmage anyway. Dump it off to them because they're chipping every single time because the offensive line can't hold up. That is another part of the equation, too, how J.C. Latham had such a clean game and watching that. The replay of it.
Yeah, Gunnar was helping a lot.
Gunnar helped a lot. He should put /RT next to his position moving forward, too, because they are a part of that protection. And it's the job to make the offense successful. But, yes, I'm with you. I don't think there's anything wrong in making him moving forward since he's going to be here, since he's part of this youth movement. Get him involved. Make him a player already so where you're not surprised by what you got next year. I feel like that's been the issue as of late. You're surprised at what you have with this team going into next year. Like, no, find out quickly.
It's funny, actually, as we were about to have this conversation, Justin Graver at Titans Film Room put out there exactly what we're talking about statistically, saying that passing versus rushing efficiency, when you look at the kind of EPA per play and all of the next level stats and wizardry that is above my head and intelligence level.
I don't know how people understand all of that.
Yeah, I don't either. In 11 personnel, simply put, the Titans are less efficient as a pass team. They have been more efficient this season on a per-play basis out of 12 personnel in the pass game. I think this team is built to be a 12 personnel team with the injuries that have piled up. And without Calvin Ridley, we don't know about Chimere Dike. We don't know about Elikai Manor. Hopefully you get them back on Sunday. But, Ramon, I think you go 2 tight ends and you rely on Gunnar Helm to be your go-to guy on 3rd down. I think they see him as a red zone guy. Originally, I think he has earned more looks in all 4 quarters in all areas of the field.
That's just flagrant, though, because if you got a guy that can make plays for you, why are you waiting? It's almost like, and I know they're not on the same level, but it's almost like the Indianapolis Colts not using their rookie tight end because, you got Michael Pittman Jr. Like,
I think
foolish.
They would tell you a rookie like that has to earn those opportunities, and he has.
On this team?
Yeah.
Earning it?
Yeah. I think they would also tell you that you've got to be in less 3rd and longs in order for the tight end running an intermediate route to be a viable option.
Yeah, but as quick as the football has to come out, how about operating with the guy that's already close to the line of scrimmage, that's got a big enough body to create for you in space the way he does?
And I think at times those routes are open and Cam is hunting down the field. I think you're starting to see Cam understand the ball's going to come out more quickly, and it's okay if that's only a 6-yard throw.
18 for 24 will eat all day as long as you stay on the field.
Let's go to Johnny in Nashville up next to the phones. Good morning, Johnny.
Hey, good morning, guys. I appreciate it. As always, taking my call. Big fan. Always been a big fan of the show. But listen, I'm going to say this out of pure fandom. You know what I mean? I'm a hardcore fan. Been here my whole life. Born and raised in Nashville. The Tennessee Titans. People keep talking about evaluating Cam Ward, but we got to be real, guys. You can't judge the quarterback when the 5 men in front of him can't do their job. They can't block a sneeze. You can't build a house on sand and then get mad when the living room collapses. And until this offensive line becomes mediocre at best, any, I think, fair evaluation of Cam Ward, in my opinion, is irrelevant. Last thing I want to say, Ramon, I always say this. There's a guy named Will. He's my best friend, and I was his best man in his wedding. He's a Gators fan. We don't talk during this week. He texted me this morning. I said, new number. Who this? As always, y'all know what rhymes with go balls? Balls.
By Fitty.
Let's go.
Tell him, Johnny. You have a great day.
Thank you, Johnny. Appreciate the call.
I'd have left him on red, Johnny. You way nicer than that. Yeah, you should have left him on red, man. The O-line. Well, Johnny, what I will say in the defense of the Tennessee Titans front office, Chad and Mike Borgonzi, Chad Brink and Mike Borgonzi, they tried with the O-line. They tried. That to me is where the optimism was for this team to be over under 5.5 games. Was because of those dudes. Even with Dan Moore and his deficiencies as far as protection, 12 sacks and everything last year.
Agreed.
Can we at least agree, like, they tried?
It was supposed to be better. Some of it's on Cam Ward holding the ball too long.
That's true, too.
And some of it's on, again, receiver injuries, and guys can't get open fast enough, so you've got to hold it longer, and you're more susceptible to sacks. But it still should have been better on the offensive line.
In those meeting rooms, though, too, I know it's times where, and I can't, it's hard comparing Munch to anybody because he's a one-on-one.
Mike Munchak, former Titans player and coach, and Ramon's offensive line coach.
But he was to tell the fellas, we got to block longer than this. I don't know Coach Bill Callahan's techniques. Did he get on their behinds on that type of stuff?
I think so.
The adjustments in team meetings we got to block longer than this.
Whatever adjustments they attempted to make were not made enough on the field.
No, they weren't.
Rhett Bryant joins us, talking Titans and Seahawks next.
It's Ramon Foster for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Man, nobody wants to deal with a plumbing, HVAC, or an electrical emergency at all. Most of the time, you don't know what it will cost you or if it get fixed right, or they pull a switcheroo on you and try to sell you something that you do not need, man. When you call Hiller, the experts are going to solve your problems quickly. And the price you're told is the price that you'll actually pay. There are no hidden fees or surprises on your bill when you get it. They bring the tablet out, they itemize everything, they show you the service charge for, and that's it. Nothing more than what you asked for, man. They've been in business for over 35 years and are family-owned and operated, too. Their techs, very professional, experienced, and trustworthy. And they're all background and drug screened, too. When they're on the way, you'll receive a photo of that tech and a link to track them in real time, so you're not sitting around wasting time and guessing when somebody's going to show up for you. That's very unprofessional. You don't have to deal with that with Hiller. The motto is happy you'll build the service is free. You have them work on your home or inside your home and it's not done correctly, they'll do whatever they can to fix it or simply just give you your money back. That's just how they do business. To learn more about Hiller or to book with them like I do, visit their website at happyhiller.com.
9:01, good morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. In Titans news yesterday, wide receiver James Prochet was signed to the active roster as the Titans officially placed Calvin Ridley on injured reserve. The Titans also signed 2 wide receivers to the practice squad in Lance McCutcheon and Christian Wilkerson. In other NFL news, Texans head coach DeMeco Ryans declared yesterday that quarterback C.J. Stroud will miss his 3rd consecutive game this week, and backup Davis Mills would get the start, who's won his 2 previous starts. The Texans host the Bills tomorrow for Thursday Night Football. DeMeco Ryans also stated that C.J. Stroud is expected to play in Week 13. And the new college football playoff rankings and projected 12-team bracket dropped last night. Texas, after their loss to Georgia Saturday, fall out of the projected 12-team playoff and is replaced by Oklahoma, who upset Alabama this past Saturday. The Sooners come in at number 8. Tulane, they replace South Florida as the Group of 5-team bid at number 12. And Georgia, they replace Alabama in the top 4 as the Tide tumbled to number 10 in the projected playoff bracket. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans involves. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go into the 4th and final hour of Wednesday mornings. Ramon and Will, fueled by Scooter's Coffee, the show that plays its best ball in the 4th quarter. Scooter's Coffee can help you do that in the 4th quarter of your day today as well. You can go by now. It'll fuel you for the day. You can go by in your lunch break. They've got lunch. They've got things that'll fuel you in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Maybe it's just a caffeine pick-me-up. You can plan on that for around 2:30. If you just put in a meeting in your Outlook calendar now, that can just be your time to scoot on down to Scooters and then get back to work. Nobody will ask questions.
Scheduling calendar meetings.
Trust me.
That's next level coffee time.
Listen
right there.
Right there, man.
Ramon Foster, Will Bowling, Justin Hawkins, our producer, Rhett Bryan in studio. I don't know about all that.
Hello.
Talking Titans and Seahawks. Good morning. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you guys?
Good.
Fine and well. Well and fine.
Beautiful day in the neighborhood. Here we go.
Absolutely right.
How are you, Rhett?
I'm all right, man. I am all right. I can't imagine what the players think about or what goes on after a loss like Sunday. Like, I had a Monday, and it was just kind of stewing in all that.
Yeah.
Wasn't anything else bad happened or anything. But, those are the ones that they bite, man. They sting.
Yeah.
They absolutely do. But you got to rinse it off and keep moving.
I saw a little bit of, I don't know whose video it was. Maybe it was Bug. Maybe it was somebody else. But we talked a little bit about it. Will and I did. But Cedric Gray slamming his helmet down like that. So you say you don't know how you feel. That right there was an indication of how he felt after that game. He two-handed power drived it into the turf, which you hate to see players doing it. But that's the natural part of how you feel. It just came out. I think that part of it to me is when you lose like that, especially when your side of the ball plays well, it just kind of oozes out at some point. The frustration catches up to your calmness, to your professionalism.
And not
naturally it does.
And not specific to just his side of the ball.
Yeah.
Every one of those guys are mad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I know the fans are mad. They are. They, in fact, the things I see them getting mad at now, it just explains how mad they are. They're mad about everything. Everything. I mean, and even like Titans radio's not immune to that. I mean, it's something to see all that. And speaking of anger, like with what the Titans did yesterday, they're going to have more to be mad about. I mean, they signed receivers to the practice squad, and Lance McCutcheon, who spent some time there a few days before, Christian Wilkerson. They put Calvin Ridley on injured reserve, and they elevated and signed to the active roster James Prochet. There's a huge outcry for Xavier Restrepo, and maybe they get to a point towards the end of this week where that's a thing, but that tells me that's more than likely may not happen.
Right.
And they're going to get mad about that. Look, it is so true when you hear that adage of, well, winning takes care of about 98% of things. It ain't wrong.
It's so true.
I mean, because when things are not going well, everything's under the microscope. Everything's is on that slide looking under the microscope.
It did feel like frustration was starting to boil over after the game. That's not necessarily a negative comment. It's just the reality of where this locker room is.
No, it's frustration.
And the defensive players are frustrated. You want them to be frustrated because it means they give a crap. And you have a guy named Jeffrey Simmons who had a sack returning back from injury, who put in a lot of hard work and wants to see the payoff of, all right, well, I worked hard to come back. I didn't work hard to come back just to lose football games. He came back to impact football games and hopefully win them. And Rhett, he sent a pretty strong message to his teammates and to that locker room. That's why you keep Jeffrey Simmons around. For all the conversation about trading him, for all the conversation about
they were not going to trade him.
Draft asset back, right? Like that.
The phone probably rang, but it was probably a hey, no.
That soundbite is part of the reason why he's still
for
here.
other things, just keep my number. For this particular topic, lose my number. Seriously,
you're right.
Listen,
You're right.
Jeff, clearly frustrated with everything that's going on, and you think about it. He had the taste of success his first. I mean, think about he didn't have playing time till week 7 of his rookie year, and all the things that happened that first year and a half, 2 years of him being here, and then that seems like light years ago. And he's worked on himself. And listen, the Titans need, for lack of a better term, accountability partners like that. Like, I love you as my teammate, but listen, we're all messing up here. And how much you missed him. Think about this. So Arden Key and him both account for 3 of the 4 quarterback sacks. And by the way, Jeff added another 3 pressures. His 26 pressures, top 5 in the NFL at his position.
I'm missing
right now.
How many weeks that was?
Missed 2 weeks and obviously had the bye.
So 3 weeks of work.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Not bad at all.
Top 5 in quarterback pressures at his position in the NFL.
And I think too, Rhett, if there's one area where the Titans have certainly exceeded expectations and have quieted a lot of the concerns of the offseason, it's pass rush. Titans are pretty much middle of the road in terms of total quarterback sacks this season. I believe at 26 at this point.
That sounds right, yeah.
If you had told me that in the middle of November, I would have been surprised. I think that their plan to get after the passer has worked. To say that Jeff and Tavondre, when they played together, are so good up the middle that we can put a lot of guys on the edge with those two, or even with one of the two, that are going to have success. And that's no knock on Jahad Ward or Draymond Jones, who is obviously a Raven, and on Arden Key. But when you're looking at things you can put off in this rebuild and things that you needed to immediately address, they put off edge rusher a little bit in terms of finding a long-term Harold Landry replacement and a long-term, maybe after this year, Arden Key replacement and now Draymond Jones replacement. It's worked well. If we're looking for silver linings, if we're looking for things that they can hang their hat on to say, we got this right, they got the pass rush right, in my opinion.
Yes, they did. That part of it has worked. And listen, in the coming months, you're going to hear lots about the names Reuben Bain, Miami, Arvell Reese, Ohio State, Keldrick Falk with Auburn. I mean, you're going to hear all kinds of, because that's got to be one of their top targets. Maybe not necessarily, at the very top pick, but very well in that range of things. It just depends on how all that. I mean, we got a lot of time between now and then.
Sure do.
A lot of things can happen, but yeah, that number, considering how much of that stuff has moved around. I mean, listen, you talked about having Tavondre Sweat and Jeff in the middle, and how much. Well, and Jeff doesn't always just line up in the middle, but how much that affects everything. Take a look at the Indianapolis Colts. When Grover Stewart has an issue and it's only DeVorest Buckner or vice versa, that defense is different. And that's no slight to the other guys trying to come in there and make their hay in this. But when you don't have your 2 best space eaters defenders, it makes a difference.
No doubt about it.
Those opposing teams don't have to account for where is 98? Where is 98? We need to know where 98 is every single play.
True.
It's fair to say it's going to be a big opponent this upcoming weekend in Seattle. Rhett, that's coming in here. because defensive-minded head coach lets you know that they're going to be disciplined, run the football also, and that defense is this Titans defense is going to have to be called upon again.
Yeah. So I have an interesting topic I'd like to introduce next segment as it pertains to quarterbacks and what they face and those things. But yeah, Seattle, as a teaser right here, they're a complete three-phase football team, and the numbers show it, and then the film obviously shows it. I mean, you have quarterback Sam Darnold throws 4 interceptions, which key here, maybe ardent key here.
Yes.
If you pressure him, you can force him into mistakes. But the other parts of that team are strong enough. They were in that game till the very last minute against the Rams. And that Seattle defense, they made Matthew Stafford look pedestrian.
It did.
130 yards passing. He had like a 53% completion percentage in that game. Made him look pedestrian.
Didn't like him.
Right. We'll talk about that with Rhett Bryan coming up, about the Seattle Seahawks and the topic that he's got for us coming up next.
Let's face it, buying a vehicle should be straightforward and stress-free, and that's exactly how Two Rivers Ford has been doing business for decades. This locally owned dealership has a non-commissioned sales team whose only focus is to find you the right vehicle at the right price without the pressure. So you'll actually have a fun car buying experience. Great prices, easy financing, and a non-commissioned sales team. Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
Ramona Will at 104.5, The Zone rolls on, and we're available 24 hours. We work on the air for 4 hours a day, but any hour of any day, you can hit the 104.5 The Zone podcast network, subscribe and follow Ramona and Will, Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you missed Brian Rice earlier this morning, if you're an Austin Peay fan, you want to hear head coach Jeff Ferris, bright and early at 6:30, or if you're time traveling and you can't listen now, but you're listening to us in the future, well, you're listening to Rhett Bryan right now, talking Titans and Seahawks in studio with us.
Hello.
Hey, now.
So you have got something.
Wait a minute. Hang on a second. What's with all the Tom Petty this morning, by the way? I like Tom Petty. Don't get me wrong.
Tennessee, Florida week.
I understand that, but.
That's it.
Okay.
The first one was a mistake.
It was a mistake.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, because, they played that at the Swamp because he's a Gainesville native.
Mm-hmm.
He's a honored son of that neck of the woods.
The second one's more for you because I like to have these oldie songs because they just sound better.
You calling Rhett old?
No, the
That's
oldie
crazy.
songs.
Well, first of all, Last Dance.
We're taking this out of context.
Wait, first of all, Last Dance with Mary Jane is not an old, that's 90s. That's not.
Right?
Yeah, because, if you want to go.
We'll call it out of the 2000s era.
Yeah.
When were you born?
Yeah, well, I guess that was, yeah.
You want to take a guess?
Hawk.
Oh, Hawk.
I'll take a guess. You were 90.
Because I was just post-Civil War, so. I was in the Reconstruction era. Andrew Johnson was president.
That broke Ramon. one of three Tennessee natives to ever be president. Andrew Johnson was presiding.
Oh, my gosh. Red, they got me right there. I'm going to be real, which I didn't expect you to say post-Civil War. What the hell?
Wow.
That's really getting to it. You age well, sir. Yes. It might be black don't crack, but white fight back. Is that what we doing right now?
I'm on the Dick LeBeau plan.
Well, I'm glad you finished the last name.
I found the fountain of youth.
Speaking of Mary Jane.
Ramon said, I'm glad you said LeBeau.
Hawk, I'll say you're a 93 kid. 95.
Okay. We just talked about his 30th birthday was a few months ago.
Do you think I'd be listening?
Okay, well, sorry. Sorry, I annoyed you with my friendship.
You need to leave.
That's right. That's on me.
All right.
We're back.
Here we are. I did a little experiment yesterday, and Zach Lyons deserves credit for this because he posted some analytics yesterday about the toughest first 10-game stretch of the last half dozen number one overall picks at quarterback. And that's what Cam Ward has the dubious distinction of, just all the, and we're going to get into what Seattle's defense, it's something.
Yes, it is.
So I would like to play a game with you two gentlemen.
Okay.
One of these stats is Cam Ward, and the other one is another quarterback.
Okay.
Through 10 games, 194 out of 332 for 1,954 yards, 6 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 58.4% completion percentage, sacked 41 times. Guesses?
Okay. Bryce Young.
Cam Ward.
That is Cam Ward.
Oh.
Now, 201 of 325, 2,016 yards, 9 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, sacked 41 times, lost 4 fumbles.
Justin Herbert.
Are these number one overall picks?
Yes.
Number one overall
picks. Oh.
I'll go first on this one. I'm going to guess.
What was that?
So I'm going to say that's Bryce Young.
I'm going to go Andrew Luck.
That is Caleb Williams.
Okay.
Sacked exactly the same.
Wow, okay.
But think about that now.
Yeah. 1 year removed. That's the only reason I didn't think it was him is because I knew he didn't throw that many picks, but it must have been front loaded because I think he only had, 6 interceptions the whole rookie season.
That sounds right.
And so it must have been 5 of them must have been in the first 10 games.
And his completion percentage for the entire 2024 season was 62.5%. Anyway, I say that to say in his first 10 games, Caleb Williams, he saw Houston's defense, he saw the Rams defense, he saw Indy, Tennessee, Carolina, Jacksonville, Washington, Arizona, New England, and Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
The two that stand out is Houston and Rams.
Right.
So that tells you right there what Cam's been dealing with because Cam has seen most of those outside of the Raiders and the Cardinals have been top 10 defenses. Some of them top 5 at the time that he played them.
Wow.
But it's just wild to think about that. Sacked 41 times, exactly the same as Cam through the first 10 games of their careers.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But just to see, and here's the other part. Caleb Williams had a better roster around him last year than what Cam has currently right now in terms of draft picks, prospects, free agents, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at what Caleb has done through his first 10 games of his sophomore season, which, by the way, what are they, 7-3?
Yes, they're 7-3.
They're winning, right?
Gene right now.
2,329 yards, 13 touchdowns to just 4 interceptions, only sacked 16 times, and a completion percentage 59.7. So not much different from Cam at 58.4 right now.
And some game-winning drives mixed in there as well, which is something we've seen from Cam that he's been able to build on as he's been in more games. Caleb Williams has been able to lead his team down the field to win more games.
But just think about this. So Cam's seen Houston twice. He's seen Indy twice with Grover Stewart and with DeForest Buckner in that group. And you just start looking through all this. I mean, he's seen the Rams. He's seen the Chargers. Anyway, I found that very interesting because when I was thinking about it, and when Zach posted that on X yesterday, I was like, you know what? Let's look at a side-by-side comparison of their first 10 games in their NFL careers. And thinking, just kind of roughly idea, I was like, I bet Caleb Williams' numbers are similar. I'll be doggone if they're pretty close.
Yeah.
41 sacks for both of them that's and it does show
I think he
that
was
is
sacked 62, 68 times last year, something like that.
It shows too that can A, be taught how to avoid sacks, and B, you can have another cycle of player acquisition to build a better line in front of that quarterback, which Chicago has done. And at the same time, our Vol for Life Darnell Wright at right tackle has started to look like what he was drafted to be as a first-round tackle. Because, Ramon, what year is Darnell Wright in?
Third. So
what year do you always say linemen always take a big jump in?
Third. The glory years are from 5 to about 8.
There you go.
And I was going to bring that up, too, as far as Darnell is concerned. Last year, Darnell had good moments.
He's a problem, though.
But was more out than in.
He's a problematic right tackle.
Yes, he was a problem. Now, it goes back to Rhett's part, too. Like, winning hides what percent, Rhett, of the bull crap?
Oh, about 98% of it.
I am a firm believer in that.
Yeah.
Winning cures all. Winning covers a lot, too, until those problems show up against the boogie monster team that comes in and exposes you, and you got to have a reset. That's like the problems that the Titans have are highlighted because of losing, too. Everything that happens bad is amplified. And you know what? Sports allow that, and that's how it should be, too.
And the reason I say all this, for the people that are down on Cam, which I don't understand, Cam is doing what he can try to do with what he's got. Like, does he know that he missed a couple of big throws with Mason Kinsey Sunday? You're absolutely right. He knows. He knew it the minute he walked to the podium. He knew it the minute he walked to the podium. But I'm just in those different sample sizes. There's an example of, and much like Cam Ward, Caleb Williams, also his head coach at his rookie year was fired. Matt Eberflus was fired in week 12 after they lost to the Lions on Thanksgiving. Right. And then what's the other common denominator? Caleb Williams was drafted by Ryan Poles, the GM, who has been dealing and has had top picks and has dealt top picks and has acquired and has money and has. So Mike Borgonzi is that for Cam Ward. I'm just saying there's some similarities there into what you can see down the road with this Titans team.
And also a general manager, Ryan Poles, who has spent a lot of time working with Mike Borgonzi as assistants on the Kansas City Chiefs.
So there you go.
Rhett, we talked about this earlier, and as it pertains to Seattle, I think it is a good exercise to compare their number one against what is here, because the Titans are without their number one receiver in Calvin Ridley for the rest of the season. Imagine if you took away Jackson Smith and Jigba from Sam Darnold and the Seattle Seahawks. Jackson Smith and Jigba this season, Rhett, has 20 more receiving yards by himself than the Titans wide receivers on the roster put together. 1,126 yards compared to Jackson Smith-Njigba's 1,146 yards. After that, there is a significant drop-off. Cooper Kupp has only 390 yards on 29 catches. After that, there's an even bigger drop-off. Torrey Horton is their third leading receiver in terms of
from
production.
Colorado State, yep.
161 yards and 13 catches. Now, wide receiver 3 is really Rashid Shaheed, who just got traded from the New Orleans Saints to the Seattle Seahawks. And this is taking out tight ends as well. We're just talking about
you
wide
could argue
receivers.
that it's A.J. Barner.
Exactly.
But yes, you're saying it's straight up position group, wide receiver by definition.
Because by the end of this game on Sunday, Rhett, the Titans had 2 healthy wide receivers.
Yeah.
And you are down to, not the bottom, but like you are just down to 2 guys. You're down to 2 players that are left to run routes. You're forced into 12 personnel. That context just has to matter for Cam Ward. Are there throws he can hit? Yes. Do we need to also reset some of the expectations considering how much we expected Calvin Ridley to help Cam this year? I think the answer is also yes.
Well, and that's the reason I brought this stuff up about those numbers in first 10 games of Caleb Williams' rookie year and Cam. I'm not sitting here, nobody's sitting here making excuses. We're bringing in relevant things as to what the variables are, as to what you're dealing with and why things may have gone a certain way or whatever. It's not, we're looking at reasons, not excuses here. Couple of things about Jackson Smith-Njigba that are impressive. First of all, 15.9 yards per catch, and that's with 72 catches, Ramon. 72. That's not, you don't say that's 15.9, he had 30 catches. That's 72 catches.
Every catch is a first down for him.
I mean, they're the number
Pretty
one.
much.
How about this? They're number 3 in yards per play on offense in the NFL, and they're number 1 in passing yards per play at 9 yards per play. So you're looking at, just total average, 2 downs and you got a first down. And then in the passing part of it, one down and you're ready to go to another set of downs in
Seriously.
this. 29.4 points per game, top 3 scoring offense in the National Football League. And the turnover ratio is -7, and a lot of that's because of the 4 interceptions last week with Sam Darnold. But you look at how complimentary this thing is, top 10 in both punt and kickoff return average. Number 6 in punt, number 9 in kick. And then the defense, they're top 5, top 10 in a lot of stuff.
And before we go further because draft conversation's right around the corner, we're about a month and a half away from at least sparking it officially.
Yep.
Just the lead up to what he is also, let's just be very transparent in that. Rookie year only started 3 games for Jackson Smith-Njigba, that is. 63 receptions, 628 yards. Sophomore year, 100 receptions, 1,130 yards. This year is the year that he's really, really, really broken out. He's already surpassed his receiving yards from last year. 72 touches, as you said, catches, 1,146 yards, 5 touchdowns. There is a gradual lead up to them also when we're talking about development and building relationships. But what they have done, though, is made him the focal point of that offense.
Absolutely.
And got him a quarterback. Right.
Yeah.
So it's just the understanding of how you get to this point. He wasn't this in year 1 is what I'm getting at, Jackson Smith.
No.
Definitely not.
And the other part, I feel like this is somewhat under the radar where we live in this region because that's the Pacific Northwest, and sometimes those games are on later than others, and I just don't pay as much attention to the NFC West division because they're not in our conference.
Right.
But he's a real one. He is absolutely a real one. A.J. Barner is a huge part of this. Cooper Kupp still gets his catches. Elijah Arroyo, the rookie tight end from Miami, Cam's former teammate in that. And we haven't even talked about the run game with this. Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet, they move it now. Those two, that duo has nearly 1,000 yards rushing and 10 touchdowns between them. So, they can move the stuff. The thing with this is the Titans defense, thank goodness that Jeff Simmons is back, Arden Key is back, and that everybody's trying to move forward as much as they can because the Rams defense proved that if you rattle and you pressure Sam Darnold, you can get yourself in a ball game.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting with Jackson Smith-Njigba too, and just what has worked with him specifically. And you look at the comparison of what Cam Ward needs. Cam Ward needs a guy that can connect with him on deep pass plays. And when we talked about Cam in the draft process, a lot of the conversation was, hey, he's going to do some stuff that makes you want to pull your hair out. He'll also then balance that out with some incredible throws down the field, like a 39-yard throw on 3rd and 17 to Chika Okonkwo that sets up a game-tying touchdown throw to Van Jefferson. Well, Jackson Smith-Njigba this season, Rhett, has 829 receiving yards on throws of 10 or more air yards.
That's 250 yards more than anybody else.
His 288.
Talking about a yak machine.
I'm getting in the weeds here a little bit, but bear with me. His 288 yards over expected on downfield throws is more than double that of all but two players, George Pickens and Kayshon Boutte.
How about that?
That is what you are looking for.
That's not just a chain mover. Like that's an explosive machine.
Yeah. Didn't Boutte have to leave LSU quickly?
There was some weird stuff with him at the end of like he didn't. I don't know. I don't know the specifics.
Maybe he got his
of it.
Boutte in trouble a little bit.
I think
it
so.
was something like that.
He got his.
I think there was.
He just had
something there.
Don't
I
really
forget
want to
what
play
it
that.
was.
Yeah,
they kind of lazy. I don't know. I don't want to speak out of turn because I don't know the full story. I remember there was some weird storylines around Kayshon Boutte at the end where he wasn't meeting his full potential, but he has always been a very talented player. I say that because Matt Miller had a mock draft come out this morning, Rhett. It's way too early to dive deep into the who.
Okay.
But the what.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the Titans acquiring the Jets 2026 or 2027 second and both their firsts in 26 and taking Jordan Tyson from Arizona State and Colton Hood from Tennessee with 2 first-round picks.
Whoa.
That's the kind of near future the Titans could have this upcoming offseason.
And in that scenario, 3 1s in 2027?
They would just get the second from the Jets. So in this scenario, they go back to 4 and 28 with Indy's first that went over to the Jets in the Sauce Gardner trade. So the Titans would pick.
But you're saying they would have 2 1s in 2027.
They would have 2 2s in 2027.
2 2s. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So they would get 428 and a 2027
That's all
second.
good, you know.
That's the kind of silver lining I'm here for, to go find your own Jackson Smith-Njigba, because this guy is unbelievable and I'm jealous. I have Jackson Smith-Njigba envy this weekend at Nissan Stadium.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you a bit in the world.
Those obviously don't come around every year. Like, this kind of prospect is rare.
I'll tell you something else, too. And Coach Mack and I were talking about this last night on Mac Talk.
Sure.
And he said, Rhett, this speaks to, because I talked about the pipeline of Ohio State wide receivers in the league, and it's legit. He said, Rhett, it just speaks to what they recruit at Ohio State.
Yeah.
Like, they value those things, and they're the ones churning out the factory of them.
Mecca Ibuka looks pretty good out of Ohio State.
Oh, my gosh. She does. Absolutely. And, of course, everybody's salivating over Jeremiah Smith and coming.
Carnell Tate.
Carnell Tate. Too.
Yeah. I mean, it's something just to see. If you started looking around the league, you go, oh, that's an Ohio State receiver. So is that guy. So is that guy. Kind of like, LSU has that same prowess.
Same thing. No, they do still.
They
Wide
still
receivers. They got a good bit in the league.
I mean, we just mentioned Boutte.
Yeah, Boutte. Yeah, and of course,
Malik Neighbors is hurt.
Malik Neighbors.
Yeah.
Brian Thomas Jr.
Brian Thomas Jr. Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
Yep, that's on me. You're
so we were talking about this earlier, and then the Titans' pathway, Rhett, to pulling off the upset. If you are able to pressure Sam Darnold, your chances of forcing mistakes and forcing the fumbles, the interceptions, all of that goes up significantly. Very unlike what we talked about when we played the Colts and about how Daniel Jones had like a above 100 quarterback rating when pressured. Sam Darnold this season, when under pressure, he's been pressured on 32% of his dropbacks, 49% completion percentage, only 6.4 yards per attempt, 6 touchdowns to 6 picks. He is also just prone to fumbling the ball. He is prone to throwing interceptions like he did 4 times against the LA Rams, as you said earlier. When he is kept clean, 4 more yards per attempt, 11 touchdowns to only 4 picks. He completes 80% of his passes when he is kept.
He's completing 70% right now with the 4 interceptions.
Leads the league in yards per attempt still, even despite that number going down by half a yard per attempt on Sunday in the loss to LA.
I see your point. I double it down with this, because if Jeff and Arden and T-Sweat and all of those guys, Sebastian Joseph Day's playing fantastic. That pressure is up front with those guys. Cody Barton, 46.5 passer rating when targeted in coverage this season, the lowest of any linebacker with 30-plus targets by over 15 in the passer rating, and his 59.5 completion percentage allowed, second lowest among that group, and his 3 interceptions are tied for the second most at that linebacker position.
Not bad.
So bring the heat, and let's see Cody Barton and Cedric Gray and those guys cook a little bit.
That's right. Sunday in Nissan Stadium. Also interested to just watch the Clint Kubiak offense in person. They got rid of Ryan Grubb. Mike McDonald, the head coach there, he's now the OC at Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
I know that a lot of the talk has been about the Titans hiring a defensive-minded coach and the pendulum swinging the other way. If you did want to go offensive-minded head coach again, someone who's a play caller right now, it's going to be hard to find many better options than Clint Kubiak, who has done wonders with that offense in only one season.
He has.
Titans head coach candidate coming to town on Sunday.
This Seattle defense is much different from what we saw last week with the two terrors at the pass rushing part of this.
Yep.
Their quarterback sacks littered all among the 3 levels of that stuff. It's a attack by committee part of this. Uchenna Nwosu is the guy that leads with 5.5 quarterback sacks, but they're very, very efficient. I mean, again, number 7 against third down, good in points allowed, all of that stuff. They're top 5, top 10 in a lot of categories for a reason.
And Leonard's there too, Williams, that is.
Mm-hmm.
He and Peter should have a good day. That'll be a good matchup. I'll be watching.
There you go.
He is Rhett Bryan, executive producer of Titans Radio, Titans and Seahawks with Farm Bureau Health Plan's Titans Countdown at 11 a.m. The League Company Countdown to kickoff at 9. We will have it for you here on Sunday. Thank you, sir. Good to see you.
Thank you all.
Coming up, I've got some good injury news for Tennessee basketball after this. What's up? It's Will Bowling here for my friends at Brentwood Hearing Center, who will get you off the sidelines and back in the game. They've got the kind of technology at Brentwood Hearing Center that helps you hear in crowded rooms, crowded restaurants, at the Thanksgiving table. Maybe you're thinking about holiday season coming up. You're thinking about that one family member who could benefit from a trip to Brentwood Hearing Center. Well, while they're in town, swing on by. Conveniently located right off I-65 at the Brentwood Old Hickory exit. Brentwood Hearing Center has doctors of audiology who are going to help you when you are having difficulty hearing with background noise. You're in that crowded restaurant, you hear the table behind you, but you cannot hear the person in front of you. Call them today at 615-377-0420, scheduled for you or for that family member that has stubbornly waited to address their hearing challenges. They will get you off the sideline and back in the game. Their website is great, BrentwoodHearingCenter.com, or call them at 615-377-0420. Brentwood Hearing Center, better hearing, better life. Ramona will wrapping up the show, fueled by Scooters Coffee. Download the Scooters Coffee mobile app. Order ahead. Scoot on down. Say I got an order for Will. Except use your name. Don't use my name. Unless I have an order. I mean, I guess you can get coffee on me.
I've given out other names.
Have you?
I have.
Really?
Because nobody says Ramon right. Raymond? Shut the hell up.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh. I'll do Foster, or I put John down just for the heck of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ryan Shumpert of Rocky Top Insider reports that Tennessee forward J.P. Estrella has a bone bruise in his left knee. That is great news.
That's awesome news.
Does not feel good for JP in the short term, but Ryan writes at RockyTopInsider.com, Estrella and the Vols avoided the worst after the talented sophomore exited Tennessee's 91-66 win over Rice with a left leg injury and did not return. The timeline is not clear, but the good news is that the injury should not cost Estrella his season.
About 3 weeks, probably.
Anytime you see someone grabbing their knee, you obviously worry it is the worst. Thankfully, it is far from the worst. Not even really the middle. That to me, Ramon, was the best case scenario. I texted my buddies the second it happened. I said, I hope they just knock knees and that's a really bad bone bruise, because if you're grabbing your knee, that's about the best you can hope for.
It really is. And that type of situation, too, and I heard Savage bring this up, too, but Rick Barnes went completely off. He went nuts on the refereeing crew, on the officiating crew, because they allowed that. It was getting gritty. It was getting dirty, a little bit too dirty for a basketball game. And he had one of his best players, one of his most crucial players, get injured in that situation. So I'm glad he actually gave it to the refs after that moment. You have to in those situations.
Man, I had just said, too, literally, what was this on Monday?
Yeah.
J.P. Estrella is my favorite player.
You did?
I love this guy.
That's why I picked Cade Phillips.
I love everything about him. And I think Tennessee's ability to play half-court offense through their big men is back in a big way this year.
Yeah.
Rick Barnes' best teams, or really up until last year for me, have been teams that can play inside out in half-court offense. Dump it down and either get a tough bucket, get fouled, or kick it back out for an open look. And with the question marks Tennessee has at the two-guard spot, they need their front court to kind of carry them a little bit. Definitely in the short term as they figure out what they have at the two-guard, and as Nate Ament kind of gets used to the physicality of college basketball. But, man, I love watching that front court. Did you see what Jalen Carey said after the game, by the way?
No, I did not. What do you have to say?
Vanderbilt fans are mad at Jalen Carey again.
Oh, come on.
Didn't take much, but never does. Jalen Carey, this is from Trevor McGee, who covers Tennessee for the Daily Beacon. Vanderbilt transferred Jalen Carey on facing Tennessee's front court in practice. Quote, last year in practice, I wasn't going up against a lot of guys like this. I do stand on we're the best front court in the country.
That's what, yes. I agree with them.
The thing is, I think that Cade Phillips would say that about Tennessee. Also,
yeah, he would.
Tennessee forwards weren't going up against a front court like this. That's not even really that much of a diss at Vanderbilt. Tennessee's forwards, I think, would say the same thing. Felix Okpara has more guys to go up against. Tennessee has 5 legitimate dudes that can play the 4 or the 5 position. Jalen Carey is kind of a he's a trash talker. Don't get me wrong.
That's just what he does.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
But also, the same could be said for Tennessee's players who are on the team. They weren't going up against a forward group like this.
No, absolutely not. And Tennessee didn't have a player, I thought, that played physical like Jalen Carey did last year also. So that says a lot about the contributions that he will be able to give at some point. Speaking of basketball minute, let's go. UK got smacked up and down the court last night, man.
Michigan State bullied them for 40 minutes last night.
They moved the ball around on them in ways that I didn't think this UK team would allow them to have, man. It almost a 20-point win. No, it was. No, it wasn't. Almost a 20-point win, a 17-point loss that UK had last night. I'm searching for that team that everybody thought that they would be this year. They got 2 losses on the season. It's early. It ain't SEC play just yet. I got a feeling they will get right. But the Champions Cup that they were playing for, the Champions Tournament they were playing for.
Champions Classic
that they were playing for in Madison Square Garden, they got embarrassed. They looked frustrated. They got bullied.
Basic breakdowns on defense where they're just leaving guys wide open.
The way Michigan State moved the ball around on them and then just dumped it off into the paint for a slam or for dunks was – that's not supposed to happen in the UK.
Definitely not.
Absolutely not.
Duke and Kansas was fun last night.
Yeah, it was. Early it was. early.
Cameron Boozer is unbelievable.
He is, but you know what I love? I watched the game strategically to see what Cam Boozer looked like in comparison to Nate Amon. Same
but different, right? Like Cam Boozer is a lot more physical and a lot thicker.
He is, but like the same. I guess the play, the same mistakes and misses that Nate Amon is having right now. He is also.
They're learning.
Yes, very much so. They're learning. They're young and very, very talented.
Vandy Chris on YouTube says, "Why doesn't Jalen Carey just shut up?" Well, why doesn't Diego Pavia just shut up? Can't have it both ways.
You cannot have
same
it both
reason.
ways.
You know what? I'm okay with both of them talking because both of them have backed it up.
They have.
So let's be consistent either way. You can hate both. That's fine. Just hate both. Or you can love both. You can say, oh, Diego Pavia shouldn't talk. Neither should Jalen Carey. That's fine. You can have that take. Just make sure you're consistent. Tomorrow morning, Thursday 3 picks. Coach Mack, Mike Keith, and Ramon Foster.
Hey, you must remember, though, your Twitter fingers and your mic is always hot, baby.